This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
A shower or two and a possible storm, a high of 29. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
It's been a wet and windy night across Adelaide. Almost 3,000 properties are without power, including in Happy Valley, Norwood and the Barossa Valley. The SES has had a number of calls for help with trees and branches brought down in the strong winds. Gusts of up to 85 k's an hour were recorded yesterday afternoon, and the Bureau's warned the damaging winds are possible until late this morning. Tropical cyclone Jasper is set to cross the Queensland coast on Wednesday. More from Richard French.
The Bureau says Jasper is tracking west, set to cross between Cape Melville in the north and Cardwell in the south. It's been downgraded to a Category 2 but is expected to intensify to a Category 3. Locals have been warned to expect very strong wind gusts, blowing roofs off houses and knocking down trees. The Cairns Local Disaster Management Group will convene with fears Jasper may bring a tidal surge at the same time as the king tides.
Queensland MPs will vote on who their new leader should be, with the news Anastasia Palaszczuk is stepping down. She's the state's 39th Premier and has been in the role since 2015. She says it's time for someone new.
The next Premier of Queensland is for caucus to decide on Friday, giving MPs time to come back. And soon the people of Queensland will have their say. I have fought the good fight, I have given everything. But now is the time for me to find out what else life has to offer.
International students will face greater scrutiny when applying for visas under major reforms to Australia's migration system. More from Zach De Silva.
The nation's migrant intake will be curbed dramatically in some areas and boosted in others as the Albanese government tries to make the system more efficient. Overall, around 200,000 fewer foreigners will be allowed in over the next 5 years compared with previous forecasts. International students will need to meet higher English language standards and explain in more detail why they want to come here after allegations of widespread rorting. But it's a different story for highly skilled migrants. Their applications will be fast-tracked with a new visa category to fill specialised jobs Australians can't do.
Popular antibiotics and antidepressants could be in short supply this Christmas. The TGA says there are 446 medicines affected by shortages and discontinuations around the country. Over 40 critical medicines won't be available until at least early 2024. Paleontologists have unearthed the skull of a giant sea monster off the coast of England. More from Edward Godfrey.
It's been called the ultimate ocean predator. Scientists have found the enormous fossilised skull of a pliosaur, which was a 12-metre-long killing machine with huge paddle-like limbs that ate anything in its path when it ruled the oceans about 150 million years ago. Each of its 130 teeth are grooved, making it easier to pierce the flesh of its prey, and the power of its bite is astonishing, more than double that of a saltwater crocodile. How it was discovered is just as amazing. The tip of its snout was spotted by chance during a walk along Dorset's Jurassic coast in England's south. The rest was excavated from the cliffs above. And there are plans to try and find the rest of the skeleton, thought to be hidden in those same cliffs.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with footy. Connor Rosie is set to re-sign with Port Adelaide on one of the longest contracts in the AFL. AFL Media is reporting the 23-year-old midfielder will commit to the Power until the end of 2032. Let's go to cricket. The Big Bash clash between the Melbourne Renegades and Perth Scorchers last night had to be abandoned. Heavy rain drenched the pitch at Geelong in the lead-up, making for unsafe playing conditions. Match official Ben Treloar told Fox Sports it became clear a few overs in, they just had to stop.
It was that last delivery. That was the one that got us to that dangerous position for us. And we couldn't have the players obviously out there. Safety of them is paramount. So the points to be shared, obviously no result, match abandoned.
Let's go to soccer. Adelaide United has suffered back-to-back losses in the A-League after going down 2-0 at home to the Brisbane Roar. Scores were locked at 0-0 at half-time, but the Roar scored twice in the second half. Socceroo striker Bruno Fornaroli has become just the third player to score 100 goals or more in the A-League. The 36-year-old scored all four in Melbourne Victory's 4-3 win over Western Sydney away from home. And in overseas action, Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham have recorded a much-needed win, smashing Newcastle 4-1 at home. In other games overnight, Everton upset Chelsea 2-0, Fulham smashed West Ham 5-0, while Man City took care of Luton Town 2-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the weather. Showers and a possible storm today, a high of 29. A shower or two tomorrow, 26. A possible shower Wednesday, 27. And down to 23 on Thursday. At the moment, 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, it's Hazel from Physio Extra. If you're in pain today because you had a big weekend on the footy field, on the court or in the garden, give us a call today for a same-day appointment. For example, if you rolled your ankle, try and stay off it as much as possible, compress it and add a little bit of ice. When you come in for your appointment, we might ask you questions like if you heard any sounds, if you've hurt the area before, or if you've done anything similar on the opposite side.
It's the extra in Physio Extra that makes all the difference. Visit physioextra.com for your nearest location or call for a same-day appointment.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
How to be excellent at entertaining this Christmas? Well, just make sure your tree is in place, hang your Christmas lights inside and out, and try not to compete with the neighbours too much. But most importantly, make sure you're well stocked with a selection of Frederick Street finest.
And it's a big good morning to Lucy Loken, who is also, like me, a huge fan of Frederick Street's finest. We had some sent in only a few weeks ago, Luce. They're terrific. I'm a bit of an in-crowd guy with Frederick Street finest because I went to the factory the other day, met the team. It's the newest and most excellent way to treat yourself and others, whether you're at home, work or entertaining this Christmas.
Whether it's apricot and coconut slice, dark chocolate cranberries or Southern Ranch corn mix.
And what about these tasty treats? Apricot delights, licorice lovers delights, cashew macadamia indulgence, honey roasted cashews, and then the savoury stuff, the pistachios, dry roasted almonds and fruity yoghurt delight.
There's literally a wall of Frederick Street finest to choose from for every taste and every occasion. So look for Frederick Street finest in the fancy blue packet at your local Drake's supermarket and be excellent anywhere with Frederick Street finest, devoted to excellence.
We love Christmas. Having the whole family over is fantastic. But if you're feeding a tribe, it can get a little pricey. So it's nice to know Drake's have dropped prices across a range of Christmas favourites to make Christmas more affordable. Drake's Supermarkets, ingredients for Christmas.
5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
6:08, good morning to you on this Monday morning. Will Goodings is off on his Christmas break. No fear, he will be back in the middle of January, so pleased to say it's just like riding a bike again. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Luce. Good morning, listeners. Great to be back working with you again, Luce, after Will took his leave as scheduled. He hasn't left early, I'm just leaving late.
That's all right. And why, David? You've been really good about not talking about it, but why are you leaving late?
Firstly, because the school holidays often don't line up with our work holidays because, you know, like a lot of things in life, it's all managed out of New South Wales and they tend to sort of think, well, let's just have a look at where the school holidays fall, and they often line up with their calendar. Although, I'm not sure if that's the reason this year. I don't know if the kids are on holidays yet in New South Wales either, but we're doing our big family sell one of your kidneys to pay for it trip of a lifetime. Thank you, Qantas. In a couple of weeks. My older kids are already in the US, and then meeting up with them and my ex in Dallas on the 28th of December. We're having a couple of days there, then she's heading home, and then Kate and I and all four kids are going to be heading south of the border, down Mexico way. Avoiding the border, I should stress.
You just mentioned selling your kidneys to get there. Well, let's hope you don't lose another one while you're over there.
Well,
caught up in a Mexican cartel?
Do a bit of that. Yeah, go to Tijuana and fall in with a bad crowd. No, we're keeping away from, Juarez and all the places where the, mayhem is well documented. But speaking of, it's mayhem of a different kind in South Australia right now. This weather, Now I was woken up at 5 o'clock by the sound of a thunderclap that was so loud it almost fired our cavoodle Patty through the roof. That poor dog, he's going to have PTSD after today.
Yeah, it's not been a fun morning for dogs out there, or people like myself who are terrified of thunderstorms. But
why are you terrified of thunder, Liz?
I don't know. I've just never liked... It's the trifecta. It's the lightning, the thunder and the rain. All individually, it's all good. Like if there's dry...
Do you have any African ancestry? Well, I suppose we all do, don't we? It's the cradle of civilization originally.
Not that I'm aware of, put it that way.
Because certainly in South Africa, people are terrified of thunder. They really freak out about it. They think that something bad spiritually is happening.
Maybe I should go there and be with my people.
Yeah, you can move to Soweto.
I wouldn't know the first thing about Soweto. If we've got a Soweto expert in the audience, please call us, 8223 0000.
Birthplace of Nelson Mandela.
Love to hear things all about the weather this morning. It has been a very, very unlikely December weekend. We will have the full wrap-up this morning with the SES. They had hundreds of call-outs over the weekend. The lowest temperature yesterday on the 10th of December was 15.5 degrees at 9:24 last night on West Terrace. Mount Lofty was 8.9 degrees at 6 o'clock last night. For December.
It's weird. It's really weird. And like the actual coldness of the weekend, like it wasn't freezing. It wasn't like, 7 or anything like that. But it felt totally like winter. We stayed down at Aldinga. I thought the house was going to take off Saturday. Like it was absolutely howling down there. And just looking around this morning too, there's a pretty big tree that's come down on the corner of Perry Street and Pulteney. God knows what it's like up in the hills. Keep your wits about you when you're heading around corners up there, because I think you can get some. If you're the first motorist to go around some hairpin bend on Paris Creek Road or somewhere like that, you might want to take a good 20 k's off your morning commute, because there'll be all sorts of stuff floating around, and that's one of the key reasons we're going to be talking to the SES.
Yes, please text us in your rain gauges. What happened to your place over the weekend? Any trees down? Any car accidents you've seen? Anything that you want to chat about this morning? 8223 0000, or the Duttons text line this morning. Call into Duttons, Mount Barker or Murray Bridge. Purchase a new or used vehicle. Go into the draw to win 3K. 0448 08 30 95. Or of course jump on the Foodland Facebook live stream, because we've got our blinds open today, so we can see the weather rolling in over Perry Street. It's not very
can barely see the hills.
Uplifting, is it? It's a bit dark. It's very bleak for this 11th of December.
Out on the wily, windy moors, it looks like some sort of Yorkshire sort of scene out there. Also, was anyone, apart from Will Goodings, who had to, was anyone mad enough to go to the Christmas carols? Seriously.
The Elder Park carols, Saturday night.
It was on 7 Mate last night. I've never seen anything like it. I can't believe that they bothered doing it. Well, it actually worked all right as a TV spectacle. But I think what they did, because these cameramen are good at creating the illusion of
a bumper crowd.
I think they got the 47 people who were there and herded them all into a little enclosure and then put on the world's narrowest lens and kept panning back to them. But, I think Will and Rosanna, we're going to be talking to Rosanna, aren't we, later in the show?
Yeah, she's going to rate Will's hosting duties.
I think by the end of the night, they were on a first-name basis with everyone who was in the crowd.
The whole event was in doubt until the Saturday. So Friday night they had their dress rehearsal and I believe filmed it just in case it couldn't go ahead on the Saturday. But it did go ahead on the Saturday. So if you were there, please let us know. You can also rate Will's performance out of 10. He's not here. He won't hear it.
I gave him a 3.
A 3? Oh, that's pretty generous, mate. Let's get to some weather calls. Steve in Seaview Downs has called in. Morning, Steve.
Good morning, Lucy and David. You wanted some information about the weather. Well, my daughter's currently in Sydney, and on Saturday they had temperatures 40 plus. And what she was astounded with is that Westfield at Bondi were charging people $20 to go through the door to cool off for a bit.
$20 just to get in?
Just to get in. Now, I find that bloody ridiculous. If Westfield are that short of money, what they should do with all that dough is give it to the Salvos or make a Wish Foundation or Cancer with Kids. I think that's terrible.
I'd be stunned if that's true. Just purely to enter a shopping mall?
It is dead set true, David. I've checked it out.
Steve, where were they saying the money was going? Was it just for the Westfield Fund?
Yep. No, they haven't. I just suggested that if they got all that dough, they should give it back to charity. It's crazy.
There you go, Steve. Well, Steve's daughter's having to fork out for a lot more than she probably bargained for this festive season if you're entering Westfield at Bondi on a steaming hot day like it was in Sydney. Currently in Sydney, only 21.2 degrees. Here in Adelaide, 17.4. Let's go to Pommy Dave in Redwood Park. Morning, Dave.
Hi, how are you? I'm going to give you a rendition of Ilkin Motorbar. I heard David mention Yorkshire. I'm just driving out towards Gawler, and I've cleaned windows for 20 years here and 20 years back in Yorkshire, Sheffield, and this just feels like a Sheffield morning. It's unbelievable.
Sheffield.
The rain, yeah, Sheffield. It's not cold, but the rain. I've never seen as much rain coming down. Main North Road. It's what is it? A pea super?
Is Sheffield... Yeah, you can say that as much as you like, Dave, because Will's not here.
Yeah,
Sheffield.
I know that.
Sheffield's the big shipping town, isn't it?
No, Sheffield's right in the steel. Sheffield Steel.
Of course.
Yeah,
That's
right in the middle. To the right of as you look at the map, to the right of Manchester, just above Birmingham and below Weeds. We don't call it the other Weeds. It's Weeds.
Weeds.
But yeah,
Thank
Good on you, mate.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, all our British listeners will be feeling right at home with this bleak, dreary weather.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Kind of looks like London, but it's definitely warmer than London. And there was a bit of lightning I saw out of the corner of my eye flash over Hindmarsh Square. That is a good time for all involved. So if I start nervously crying on air, everyone will know why. Before we get to the news headlines, Glenn in Hawthorn went to the Carols. Morning, Glenn.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Glenn. Were you there, mate?
Oh, yeah, mate. I took the Dryser Bone, of course.
And now Gina Reinhardt owned Dryser Bone, yep.
Look, yes, of course. And I'll tell you what, crikey, that guy had a right Cockney accent, the one before me, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, great accent, Pommy Dave.
Yeah. And look, all jokes aside, I think Channel 7 and all their crew did an absolutely incredible job. 100 out of 100 to them and the wonderful artists. I think Paul Kelly might have been the one that got the most biggest token on stage. And I noticed Will and Rosanna and Amelia, they changed positions. They weren't on the stage. They went to the lighting stage. And I think that might have been because they were getting a token themselves.
Yeah, looked like
it. Look, I think there was probably about a couple thousand people there in the end, but there was actually people who stayed there over Saturday night. Look, people look forward to that thing for 12 months ahead. And it was an incredible show, and 100 out of 100 for all the organisers and all the brave souls that come along to it. It was good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. When I got home, I jumped in the spa, though, I'll tell you that. And, but no, it was great. And but do you know, they set a bit of the fireworks off, and when they did, all the birds took off. And, we've got the pelicans at the River Torrens here. There was a massive turd come over the camera screen. So these things happen. But
well, it's good luck in some cultures, Glenn. Good call, mate.
Yes.
Good to hear you had a good time, mate. Sounds like an absolute cracking night. Sources
Glenn.
close to Channel 7. I was being told that there are only about 400 people there, and that was a generous assessment. But anyway, we can ask Rosanna after 8 o'clock.
It is 6:18 on this wintry 11th of December, 8223 0000. Love to hear you this morning. It is Lucy and David for the next week. We'll be back in mid-January, but up next is news headlines.
Sounds like your old washing machine has spun its last spin. But that's okay, it's still got a purpose and a value. At Knorr Metals, we offer cash for scrap. We'll take your recyclable waste and give it to companies that can transform it into other components. Knorr Metals is open Monday to Friday and Saturday mornings. Cash for scrap? No worries at Knorr Metals. 255 Grand Junction Road, Ottawa.
There's hot chili cashews, smoked almonds and delicious spicy peanuts. Merry Christmas, folks. I'm Brett Charlesworth, and they're just 3 of the tantalising products we cook hot and fresh for you in every one of our Charlesworth Nuts stores. There's salted and unsalted nuts, there's spicy, hot chili and smokehouse flavoured, plus our range of designer mixes exclusive to Charlesworth's. Just follow the seductive aroma of freshly cooked nuts to one of our 11 family-owned stores or shop online. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
Matty B loved popping monos on his sister's 3-speed Malvern Star. It was a beautiful bike, purple, pink neon tassels and a rainbow seat, but Matty B didn't care. He was popping monos all the way up the street without a care in the world. He was unique like that, and that's when it came to him, just before hitting a parked car.
But that was an epiphany for Matty, because that's when he figured out how to make the world's best pie. It was a promise he'd made to himself after tasting the worst pie in the world from a local tuck shop. So he got straight to work just after he'd got out of hospital.
So many years later, the best pies in the world go by the name Unique, a bit like Matty B. Get your Unique pies, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket or wherever awesome food is sold.
Unique. It's time for something better.
The Hyundai 2023 SUV sale event is on now. Enjoy a brilliant $2,000 factory bonus on selected Santa Fe and Palisade, plus a great $1,500 factory bonus on the Tucson SUV. Experience our most innovative SUVs, packed with smart sense safety, advanced technology and intuitive design. Hurry, limited time only. Offer on select stock and not applicable on every model. T's and C's apply. Visit your local showroom today. Imagine that. Hyundai.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
Gee, that's very up and about, isn't it?
Well,
6:21 on a rainy morning.
see, you're probably too young to know this, Luce. It's also the completely inappropriate named KC and the Sunshine Band.
I had a funny feeling it was.
Are you familiar with their work?
I'm familiar with that song.
It's good. High to disco, old KC.
A shame it's not sunnier on this Monday morning, but there we go. It is December after all. Christmas time, and it's exactly 2 weeks as well. Christmas Day, 2 weeks
I hope that wasn't
away.
mansplaining. Was that what's known as mansplaining?
Nah, don't worry, Dave. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
Plenty of chances for mansplaining over the course of the week.
Leave that to Mark Dreyfus. He's good at that.
As we've mentioned,
He said sorry, though, didn't he?
He did
say
say
sorry. We gave him credit for that the other day.
The SES has had a busy weekend responding to hundreds of calls for help. Strong winds, the main issue, as well as a fair drenching across the state. Trees and branches have come down, cutting electricity to almost 2,000 properties. The Bureau of Meteorology is warning of damaging winds until late this morning, with one gust hitting 85 k's an hour at Sellex Hill yesterday afternoon.
That's near where we were when the house almost took off.
Yeah.
Sellex Hill. It was absolutely like crazy down Aldinga Way.
Wizard of Oz situation.
It was. No place like Aldinga.
Eye-catching Christmas light displays are bad for the environment, according to an RMIT University professor. You'll love this, mate. A study has found the glow of the lights has a major impact on native wildlife. Professor Sarah Beckersey says there are easy ways to help wildlife while staying festive.
So we've asked people to think about doing things a little bit differently. We're not cancelling Christmas. We just want people to maybe switch to a few different ways of doing things.
Like what? If you're going to come up with something... See, the absurd thing about this report is probably funded by the taxpayers. Well, it would be, because she's from a university. Clearly, like, no private sector company's going to give her $10K to write a nonsense PhD about bilbies being terrified by inflatable Santas. We're talking about the suburbs. We're not talking about putting up, going to Cheapest Chips and buying all the Christmas decorations and putting them up in the middle of Kakadu.
I would love to see that, though. That is a fabulous idea.
Imagine that.
8223 send us your Christmas light recommendations in the burbs.
I've dressed Jabiru as an elf in Kakadu. That'd be tricky, because you have to get past all the crocodiles too. It's what you call extreme Christmas decorating.
A different kind of festive story.
God, people can worry for... If worrying was an Olympic sport, we'd podium, which isn't a verb.
Yeah, it's not something we want to podium at, really.
That's right.
Major reforms will be cut back on the number of migrants allowed into Australia. The federal government is unveiling a new strategy aimed at streamlining the visa system. International students will face tougher scrutiny, while some highly specialised workers will have their entry permit fast-tracked. Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill says it's about making sure we're attracting the right people to tackle big national challenges.
So while we bring overall numbers of migration down to normal levels, we're going to slightly increase the share of people who are coming here who bring those really specialised skills from around the world.
Big story that. We'll probably get into that with Phil tomorrow. But it was becoming yet another headache for the Albanese government. So the fact that they've stepped in to rein those numbers in is pretty significant.
There's concern 1/3 of the country's agricultural land could be lost if the government pushes forward with plans to lower emissions using solely wind and solar. An analysis by the Institute of Public Affairs suggests that wind and solar farms would need to be built across 119 million hectares to keep up with energy demand. It found alternatives like nuclear power would require far less land to generate what is needed. I hope we don't get rid of too much agricultural land.
No.
My people up in
Take
Clare
that with a little
won't
bit of
be
a
too
degree of
happy.
salt. The old IPA, God bless them, but they're super right-wing lovers of nuclear power, which, so am I, guess. the lover of nuclear power bit. But I don't know if it's quite that alarming, the loss of land part of it, but the nuclear part definitely makes sense. Even the French were telling us last week to, enter the 21st century and embrace nuclear power.
Good hearing that from the French, isn't it?
Yeah.
And finally, Australians are being offered alternative medications as stocks of popular antibiotics and antidepressants fall ahead of Christmas. The Therapeutic Goods Administration says more than 440 medicines are affected by shortages and discontinuations. Over 40 critical medicines are unavailable until early 2024. Another check on the weather. Maximum 29 degrees today. A shower or two, possible storm, says the Bureau. I think we've definitely already had that. High chance of showers increasing late this afternoon and evening. In terms of around the country, it is 17.3 degrees currently in Adelaide, which is pretty mild. Brisbane, 23.4 is the hottest. Hobart is the coldest at 13.4 degrees. Time for sport now. Tom Wren is in the studio. There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning, Tommy.
Morning, Lucy. Morning, David. Look, a big weekend, and I think probably winners and losers. We'll start with the signings, and this is big wins if you're these particular athletes. We'll start with Connor Rosie. All the speculation, front page news.
That's massive, isn't it, for Port?
Well, huge.
8 years.
8-year extension would make him, it'd be the biggest contract in Port's history. It would take him to 2032 because he's contracted for next year, and it would mean that he's going to finish at 32, or that's when he's going to be out of contract. So it's a huge deal. It's always a risk when you sign such long-term deals, but I think we know the quality, back-to-back All-Australians, best and fairest winner. But that's massive. They had a good week last week with Zach Butters, Willem Drew, Ollie Lord all signing on, and now potentially, Connor Rosie not far away. So we'll wait to see if that happens today. Other big signings that I want to talk about, Shea Atani, who's a baseballer. Now, think of like a quarterback in the NFL, and they have the offensive and defensive team. It's like having a gun quarterback, because he's a star pitcher, and also an amazing defensive player, like the best stopper. He's an incredible switch-hitting batsman as well. He can, hit home runs for fun.
So he's like the Viv Richards of baseball. Well, actually, no, that's not a very good analogy.
Viv Richards of batting, and then also Alan Dolan of bowling.
Yeah, okay.
Really good at both. It's just so rare you get something like that. He's just signed a $1.06 billion deal for 10 years.
Billion.
So he's gone from the LA Angels to the LA Dodgers. Biggest baseball contract ever. So that's not bad. He's done pretty well. The other
one,
a
bit of a crosstown rivalry. Geez, he's going
to cop it when he goes
for the local derby.
Yeah, exactly. John Rahm has signed with Liv. Now that's worth 906 million Australian dollars. So
just him,
just to go to Liv, John Rahm,
just to turn up.
Yeah,
hasn't won anything. He's just turned up.
It's more money than the entire PGA Tour had in prize money last season.
The sign-on fee.
That's
so crazy.
John Rahm will be playing in Adelaide. Let's have a listen. John Rahm did an interview about switching over to Liv. There's no doubt it's all about the cash. We know that, and everything that goes with it. But let's have a listen to what he's had to say about coming over.
Other than Spain, are there any other locations that you're super excited about?
Take a guess, because there's one that stands out.
Singapore. Come on.
Close. Adelaide is the one that, seeing last year, seeing highlights, I was like, man, that golf course looks incredible. The vibe looks even better. Same with Singapore. That golf course looked spectacular. So I've always wanted to play more on that side of the world, and I'm really looking forward to those two.
So that's good. Yeah, so John Rahm, I think if, Live tickets are already hot property, but to see John Rahm, Masters champion from this year and two-time major winner, he's arguably the biggest name in golf right now alongside, Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, of course, but he's up there. It's exciting for Adelaide to hear that, he's sort of pigeonholed that as the course he wants to get to. So that is great news. Bruno Fornaroli, he scored 4 goals yesterday for Melbourne victory. Unbelievable. And the LA Lakers won the NBA's in-season tournament. Losers. Oh, Lucy, you'd be disappointed with this. Nick Kyrgios, he's not going to be playing at the Australian Open. That's devastating news for organisers.
Isn't he supposed to be doing special comments commentating?
I would not be surprised. He's doing content for his OnlyFans. I see he's got that going.
I'll reserve my comments about Nick Kyrgios picking OnlyFans instead of being a professional tennis player. But anyway, carry on.
So that's Kyrgios. Big Bash fans have been a bit unlucky over the weekend. The washout here and then the pitch was unsafe in Geelong last night. That was crazy. First time we've ever seen that in the Big Bash, that the pitch was unsafe. 36ers, unfortunately, they're bottom. You smell a bit at the moment. The Strikers, given that the game was a washout. And Eddie Jones' PR team would be ripping their hair out. He, after saying all that time, I'm not going to Japan, where are you getting off this rubbish story? Guess where he's going to be coaching?
Yes.
Japan.
Crazy, isn't it?
Thank you, Tommy.
Good on
More
you.
in your sports update at 6:30. Up next, the news with Kendall.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and storms, a high of 29 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
Police are investigating a fatal crash at Second Valley last night. A Toyota Hilux lost control and rolled on Main South Road, killing one of the passengers, a 16-year-old boy from Blackwood. The driver and 3 other passengers were taken to Flinders with non-life-threatening injuries. The death is the 106th life lost on our roads this year compared to 66 a year ago. We're waking up to another wet and windy morning across Adelaide. The Bureau's warned wind gusts of up to 90 k's an hour are possible until late this morning. It comes as the SES responded to hundreds of calls for help over the weekend for toppled trees and power outages. More than 3,000 people are without power this morning, some in Norwood, Happy Valley and the Barossa. Residents in far north Queensland are being told to prepare as tropical cyclone Jasper sweeps across the Coral Sea. The Weather Bureau's issued a cyclone watch for areas between Cape Melville and Townsville. Meteorologist Jonathan Howe says the cyclone's expected to make landfall in the coming days.
Tropical cyclone Jasper is expected to continue moving towards the west in coming days, but it may re-intensify back into severe Category 3 system before making landfall on Wednesday.
Critical medications could be in short supply over the holiday period. Emily Minnie explains.
Antibiotics, painkillers and antidepressants are among the 446 medicines affected by shortages and discontinuations. The Department of Health and Aged Care Therapeutic Goods Administration says 40 critical medicines are included in that list, such as common antibiotics, ampicillin and Rifidin. ARX morphine for daily pain relief and amistofen used to relieve radiation and chemotherapy symptoms are also in limited supply. People prescribed these medications are being given access to alternative but unapproved products. The shortages are expected to last until early next year.
While the latest COVID vaccine is being made available at pharmacies to combat growing case numbers, the jab targets the Omicron variant of the virus and can be used as either a primary vaccination or a booster. Australia's migration rate is forecast to halve over the next 2 years. The federal government's rolling out major reforms to the visa system, including tougher scrutiny of international students. Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill says the changes will make sure the migration system has integrity.
We are announcing today that we will lift English standards for international students and put in place a range of measures to make sure that when students come to our country, they're actually here to study and not to work.
And a new fast-track visa program will also be set up for highly specialised workers to tackle labour shortages in key industries. Melbourne doctors are trialling an implant that some say could revolutionise prostate cancer treatment. More from Gail Watson.
2 men in Melbourne have become the first patients in the world to receive a new surgical implant as part of their treatment for prostate cancer. The thumbnail-sized device is placed in patients at the time of the prostate removal operation, which allows them to retain sexual function. Initially, men use a handheld device to turn the permanent implant on, but it's hoped it will lead to better regeneration of the nerves, so the device wouldn't be needed long term. Surgeon Philip Dundee telling the Herald Sun many males avoided checkups for prostate cancer because they didn't want to be among the 70% who lost sexual function after surgery. The team hopes to recruit 18 more men for the trial of the American-Swiss technology.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Reports are circling Connor Rosie's on the verge of signing a huge contract extension, keeping him at Alberton until the end of 2032. It would mean Rosie is 32 himself when that contract expires. Well, history has been made in the Big Bash League as a game was called off overnight. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
For the first time, a Big Bash League clash has been abandoned mid-game due to the state of the pitch. Heavy rain drenched the wicket in the lead-up to last night's game between the Renegades and Scorchers.
No concerns when we started. We wanted to give it every chance. So that's why we obviously started play. It looked all right on top.
Match official Ben Treloar telling Fox Sports several unpredictable deliveries left the players stunned and forced him to intervene.
It was that last delivery that got us to that dangerous position for us. And we couldn't have the players obviously out there. Safety of them is paramount.
There was a collective boo from the crowd when play was scrapped, but all tickets will be refunded. The points will be shared.
Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham have recorded a much-needed win, smashing Newcastle 4-1 at home this morning. Brazilian forward Richarlison with a double for Spurs.
Here's Richarlison, what a ball that is! This can settle it now! 2 goals for Richarlison!
In other games played overnight, Manchester City beat Luton 2-1, Fulham destroyed West Ham 5-0, while Everton took care of Chelsea 2-0. And the LA Lakers have won the NBA's first in-season tournament, beating the Indiana Pacers in the final. They won 123-109. Anthony Davis outstanding with 41 points and a staggering 20 rebounds. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now to the weather. Windy with showers and storms today, a high of 29. A shower or two tomorrow, 26. A possible shower on Wednesday, 27. And a shower or two for Thursday, 23. At the moment, 18. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
FIVEAA's Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
6:37. Happy Monday to you if you're up and about, or if not, staying in bed, cuddling up in the rain and the wind.
Or with Wayne. You might be with Wayne.
You might be called Wayne. Call us if you are. Hello to you all Waynes of Adelaide.
It's a big shout out to the Waynes. Now, I'm not the Weather Bureau, but looking out the window, it looks like it's clearing a bit.
A little bit, yes, over High Marsh Square here. We do face the hills, and the hills have been a bit difficult to see this morning, but there hasn't been lightning for about 15 minutes or so, so perhaps the storms are off the way out. Jump on the Foodland live stream, you'll be able to see the incoming rain radar, which does look like it is travelling further south over Kangaroo Island at the moment. So we might be in the clear, but we will chat to the Bureau of Meteorology coming up shortly. Also, there's our half hour heading over to the United States to chat with Miley Hogan from Channel 7. Tony in Glenelg has given us a ring, though. Morning, Tony.
Oh, well, I wish you a very happy Christmas, Lucy and Dave, and hope you have a fabulous rest and break. It'll be good.
Good on you, Tony. Thanks,
Tony.
mate. Same to you, too.
Yeah, I had a wonderful experience yesterday. I had a traumatic experience with the power lines shorting and booming and sparking, and then I rang Power Networks and their team, the three of them came along and did a fantastic job and rectified the situation over about 40 minutes, and it was just wonderful. They worked hard and they were just so efficient and really saved my bacon.
Oh, that's good, Tony. Good to get some nice bouquets.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Often, we do a good job prosecuting the case when people fail to provide good services. But yeah, that's a nice call, mate. And
Tony, how's the wind down at Glenelg yesterday? Did you get down to the actual ocean and see what was going on?
Oh, well, actually, it's funny you say that, Lucy. I went to the Marion Aquatic Centre, and when I came out of there, the wind was howling. It was really blowing. So even at Marion Aquatic Centre was rough weather, Lucy.
At least you got to swim in somewhere. Thank you, Tony and Glenelg. They're looking at power outages. Currently in the metro area, about 3,000 customers are affected, so it's 3,000 homes. About 900 in the Modbury St Agnes area, about 900 in Norwood around the parade, Beulah Park, and that one, Norwood, is expected to be 1:45 this afternoon. Modbury St Agnes is expected to be 2 p.m. this afternoon, so if you're in those areas, it might take a little while to get your power back on. David, got some texts on the Dutch text line?
Yes, we have,
in?
Luce, and you're probably too modest to read them out because a lot of them are saying they're from people thrilled to hear you back on air. One here too, Jane with a Y, says, I'm with you, Lucy, about hating thunderstorms. I sit here in trepidation. Roll on Friday. Friday being the first day this week when we are not going to have any forecast rain. Peter in the Barossa, he wants to know, Luce, are you going to be dressed by Peter Shearer on Thursday?
We get this question a lot, whether Peter Shearer will continue the sponsorship of whoever's panelling in this chair, but
they do menswear though, don't they?
Yes, and I don't really like wearing men's clothing.
No.
So
you're not Annie Lennox, are you?
I wouldn't mind, if Country Road wanted to jump on board.
Well,
Seed Heritage.
Yeah, Prada. I'm big.
Christian Dior. Anyone out there?
Dior.
The new Louis Vuitton store in the mall?
Oh, that's right. That's the one that might be going to Burnside Village
2
permanently.
streets away. So no to Peter Shearer, Peter, but no doubt they will be back in 2024.
I'll upset Mark in Conniva. I love Mark. I'm sorry, mate. He says, Dave, why not respect the science behind the Christmas light study? They're not talking about bilbies, as your throwaway comment suggests, but native birds that already struggle with artificial light, a fact already commonly known, and Christmas lights exacerbate the problem. People listen to your opinion and feed off your support or disdain of a subject. It just feels like, are there really that many houses that are decorated with lights that it's becoming an issue? I mean, maybe if you're a parrot in Pelham Street, you might want to think about living somewhere else. But
Well, let's find out. Text us your streetlight displays. I think 2 weeks out from Christmas Day itself is a fair time to start putting together a Christmas light map of Adelaide.
Yeah, well, the Tyser normally do one, interactive, but there's hardly any areas where there's more than one or two houses per street.
Oh, 9th Avenue St Peter's is the entire street.
Yeah.
But they aren't
But there's
quite
only a
bordering
few
the park.
clusters like that.
Yes.
There's Pelham Street, there's that one.
Well, I mean, Lobethal Lights will be kicking off shortly.
Lobethal, I agree with you, Mark. You would not want to be a native bird in Lobethal, I guess.
No, I mean, beautiful part of the world. They're probably copping a bit of wet weather this morning. Christine in Lobethal, if you've got your rain gauge handy, shoot us a message with what you're at. A bit of a event on the weekend, David, a amalgamation of Daniel Ricciardo combined with a sad memory from 2017. I say sad, you understand it in a minute. Aussie F1 star Daniel Ricciardo, we all know, we get behind the racing when Daniel's racing. He jumped on stage at Zach Bryan's Melbourne sold-out concert. Now, Zach Bryan is a country singer. He came to Australia and only played in Melbourne. Anyway, Daniel Ricciardo jumped up on the stage and belted out some country tunes. He's up there, belting it out, grabbed the mic, having a great time. A memory that you might be familiar with, David, from 2017, the grand final and the Killers. Richmond player Jack Riewoldt jumped on stage following that game against the Crows.
Why are we even doing this to ourselves?
Because
you know why? Because Sam Daddo's producing the show.
That's right.
And he's a Port supporter.
Sam is in charge, but I don't mind Sam's idea here. If you could sing one song with a band or an artist, they're playing and you can get up and jump up there and sing with them, who would it be and what's your song? 833 We've got prizes bonanza this week as well, so if you call in, there's a fair chance you're going to win something decent just in time for Christmas.
Courtney Cox was the most famous, certainly in a dancing sense. She was I think it was just before or just after she'd started hosting MTV where she got a big break, but she was in Dancing in the Dark, the Bruce Springsteen video.
She was indeed. 833 If you could jump up on stage with one band or artist and sing a song, what would it be? If you call in and participate, you're in the running to win a $100 Unique Homestyle Foods voucher. Perfect, just in time for Christmas. Unique. It is time for something better.
I was almost jumping up on stage at the Christmas party on Friday night. That was quite the run-up. Went to the excellent Melt Pizzeria on King William Road with some chums for lunch on Friday.
Lunch. What time did you make it to the Christmas party, Dave?
I got there at about 9:30.
And when I said, how was your lunch? You said, it's still going.
It was a good one. You need to do that from time to time.
Now,
well, you should, I don't know.
I wish we had the quick audio of your 2017 Christmas party rendition of Mr. Brightside in Spanish, but, you know.
Oh, yeah, Senor Brightside.
We'll save that for another day. Tanya's called in with her song. Morning, Tanya.
Good morning.
How are you, Tanya?
I'm well on this thundery morning.
Excellent. What band or song would you sing, Tanya?
I would love to get on stage with Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run.
Oh, yeah.
Born to Run.
Absolutely.
Bruce Springsteen, the boss. They say his concerts go for hours and hours.
They do. They do say that because they do. I've been to a couple. They go for about 3 hours. It's a punishing but excellent night.
Dave in South Brighton, good morning. Dave, we got you?
Yeah.
What's your band or song, Dave?
Rolling Stones, I Can't Get No Satisfaction.
Oh, yes. That would be good.
I'd love to do the strut with Mick.
That would be a pretty satisfying activity, I feel like.
It would be pretty hard to pull it off, though, standing next to Mick Jagger. He's a pretty good dancer, that guy.
He's unreal. What would you do, Dave?
Well, which Stones song? I'd like to be up there standing next to the backing vocalists in Give Me Shelter. That'd be fun. But I would not want to dance next to Mick Jagger. It's like trying to do a science experiment next to Albert Einstein. Like, the guy's when it comes to dancing, the guy's in an absolute league of his own. And if you can't dance, and I can't dance, why would you subject yourself to that kind of ridicule?
8223 0000. What band or what song would you sing if you could jump up on stage, dead or alive, let's say, if there's someone who's no longer with us and you'd like to do it? For sure.
I thought you meant Dead or Alive, the band.
Didn't know they were a band.
They're one of Will's favourites.
Will.
Going to say all sorts of things about Will this week when he's
the
not
guy
here.
who's not here for the next 5 weeks, but he will return. No
already given
fear
him
about that.
3 out of 10 for hosting the carols for no apparent reason.
Get your calls coming in 8223 0000. Your chance to win a $100 home-style unique foods voucher. In the meantime, let's check traffic for the first time this morning.
Thanks, Lucy, and good morning, David. Big, heavy thunderstorms and lots of rain passing through various areas at the moment, so take it easy on the driving today. Due to that weather front, flooding over the road of Virginia, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road, making things slow. Burst water main at Marden, OG Road near Kent Street, speeds at 25. Lane closed at Lockleys, Henley Beach Road near Rolls Road, with a camera today, Bellew Street at Ingle Farm. The McRib is back at Macca's, and if you wanted a fresh take on this fan fave, then say hello to McRib Deluxe. But getting quick before they ride off into the sunset. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Get great value Christmas dishes for every budget at Coles. Like Coles RSPCA approved whole chicken was $5.50, now down to just $4.50 a kilo. That's great value hands down at Coles.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. Orthopaedic surgery is enhanced at Western Hospital by a well-established short-stay program focusing on returning you home following your joint replacement. A joint school is provided prior to surgery, led by experienced orthopaedic nurses and physiotherapists who support you during your journey toward a safe and often early return home. For more information about orthopaedic short-stay surgery, visit westernhospital.com.au or call 8159 1200.
Now, the best way to see our beautiful country is through the windscreen of your four-wheel drive, but if you want to get there, you want to be TJM equipped.
Their Escape for Summer sale is on now. Don't miss your chance to stock up on all the gear you'll ever need for summer adventures or winter weather type adventures in the summer in the great outdoors.
That's right. Get at least 20% off camping gear, from swags to awnings and shower tents, plus 20% off all recovery gear like winches and recovery kits.
TJM Christmas essentials like beach towels, travel tumblers and cooler bags are 20% off. They are the ultimate stocking fillers.
So if you love 4x4 and camping, don't miss TJM's Escape for Summer sale on until Saturday, December 16. Chat to TJM's 4x4 experts at TJM in Nailsworth and Clovelly Park.
This Christmas will look a lot different for struggling families and vulnerable members of our community. The ongoing cost of living crisis makes it impossible to put a decent family meal on the table. And keeping a roof over their heads is getting harder and harder. People shouldn't be hungry, anxious and desperate this Christmas. Vinnie's needs your help to give emergency support this Christmas. Head to vinnies.org.au or call 13 18 12 to donate.
5AA Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
Monday morning, we'll get to the Weather Bureau shortly to find out exactly how much rain we've had, but a few more entries for the song or band you might sing along with if you could jump up on stage with them. Dean in Holden Hill, good morning.
Good morning. 1986 Grammy Awards, Dionne Warwick, Luther Vandross, Whitney Houston and Stevie Wonder got up on stage and sang, well, that's what friends are for. Now, I'm a chubby albino, so it'd be like I used to umpire footy, but I'd be a Jaffa in a bag of Maltesers up on stage with them. I thought it'd be fantastic.
Thank you, Dean.
What a mental picture you paint there, Dean.
Good little story there. Sue in Mylor, good morning.
Yeah, hi guys. Nothing compares me. I would give anything to get up on stage with Robbie and sing Angels.
Oh yeah.
Did you go the other night, Sue?
No, I couldn't go. I live here all by myself up in the hills and I can't get there. But oh God, I love that song and I love watching him sing it live. I've got YouTube. I often watch him and it's the best. And
have you seen the doco
be up
yet,
there
Sue?
with the crowd watching him, be awesome.
Have you seen the doco on Netflix about him yet?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I've
watched it online. But I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But that is to see him sing to hundreds of thousands of people and they all join in, it would be the best moment of your life.
Yeah,
so, well, sadly we can't send you along to Robbie Take Two, but let's send you a $100 Unique Homestyle Foods voucher, Sue. Get unique pies, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket. It is time for something better. Let's head over to the Bureau of Meteorology now, find out exactly what happened over the weekend with our wild weather. I note as well that the lightning has just started up again over here at Hindmarsh Square in the city. From the Bureau of Meteorologist is John Fisher. Morning, John.
Good morning, Dave and Lucy.
Pretty crazy old weekend, John. How's it looking for the rest of today? Because we've had the storm. Is it passing through Adelaide now? Is it going to calm down a bit from here?
Look, it's moving into the northern suburbs at the moment and coming down from the north. So, through the city, likely to see some heavy falls with that thunderstorm very shortly, actually. So they're moving quite quickly. So some short bursts of heavy rainfall. Hopefully doesn't cause too many issues, but we did have a storm a bit earlier, dropped around 5 millimetres in about 10 minutes through the CBD, so pretty heavy while they last. Look, it should be on an easing trend through the day, but there is still the chance of 1 or 2 round as we move through the afternoon. So just keep an eye on that radar, and also those really gusty easterly winds that we've had the severe weather warning out, current 4. Look, that's also on an easing trend, but there's been lots of trees down that the SES has been attending to over the last 24 hours. So still some wild weather happening at the moment, but generally on an easing trend. And over the next couple of days, looking like some showers on and off, maybe a chance of a storm, but less rainfall and temperatures in the mid-20s, guys.
John, Adelaide had its coldest December day on Saturday in 50 years. I didn't check it out for Sunday, but was Sunday even colder?
That's a good question. I think it probably was a touch warmer yesterday, just given the fact that it wasn't quite as much rainfall. I don't have the exact number for you there, but it's certainly been an interesting couple of days with that very cold temperatures, and out through the Riverland today, we're headed for 40 degrees, would you believe, at Renmark. So some big temperature contrasts across the state with this weather system.
Just quickly, John, sorry, are we going to get to that 40 in Renmark? I know it's 29 for Adelaide. Are we expected to get to that?
That's the current forecast. Obviously this system's pretty dynamic. We'll have to see how we go, but I think if we get some gaps in that cloud, it looks very warm through the far east of our state.
Wonderful. Thank you. John Fisher.
Cheers, John.
There at the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's head across to SA Police. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes is on duty. Good morning to you, Beck. Sadly, sad story to start with this morning. There's been another fatal crash last night at Second Valley.
Yes, good morning. There's been another young life lost on our roads yesterday. This happened about 5:15 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Emergency services were called to Main South Road at Second Valley after a Toyota Hilux that had been travelling north lost control and rolled. Sadly, one of the passengers in the car is a 16-year-old Blackwood boy. He died at the scene. The driver's a 17-year-old Dover Gardens boy. There were 3 other young passengers in the car as well, a 16-year-old boy and 2 15-year-old girls. They've all been taken to the Flinders Medical Centre for treatment, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening. Our major crash officers attended and examined the scene, and they're investigating the circumstances surrounding this fatal crash. The teen's death is the 106th life lost on South Australian roads so far this year, compared to 66 at the same time last year. So just an absolute tragedy for all involved there.
Is there a bit of a backstory as to what they're all doing in the car? Was it their car, Rebecca, or was all that under investigation?
I believe it's their car. There's been nothing mentioned about that. But yeah, still a bit unclear as to why so many young people were travelling in one car together, heading north, possibly coming back from the Flurio last night. But that will all be looked into.
Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca, also 5 youths arrested in South Plympton last night.
Yeah, some really good work by police here. Just after 8 p.m, a young woman was walking along Nelson Street at South Plympton when she was approached by a group of teenagers who allegedly pushed her to the ground and stole her Apple AirPods, black Nike sneakers and earrings. The victim sustained a minor injury to her hand in the scuffle. It was quite a frightening incident for her. A short time later, a shop on Bray Avenue, Plympton Park, reported a theft by a group of youths. Police responded and searched the area and located the suspects nearby on Barker Avenue, near Marion Road at Plympton. It turns out they're the same youths from the street robbery as well, and we were able to recover some of the victim's stolen property, her shoes and one of her AirPods. And 5 girls aged 12, 13 and 15, all from the southern suburbs, have been arrested and charged with the aggravated robbery and theft from the shop. They've all been bailed to appear in the youth court at a later date. So good work to round them all up. But it'd be nice to get all the victims' property back for her.
Yeah, for sure.
Bunch of 12-year-old girls there, Beck.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rebecca
Rebecca.
Stokes, Senior Constable there.
Hey, ignore what I said earlier. Actually, don't ignore this bit when I did say I'm clearly not the Weather Bureau, because we said 10 minutes ago it looked like it was clearing up in the city. Well, the opposite is now true. The storm is well and truly back on, and there's bolt lightning coming down while we're sitting here chatting, Luce. You've got your back to it. You can't see it as well as I can. It's amazing.
In the news break, I will be putting the blinds down. I'm feeling ever so slightly anxious. I would rather not look,
all
actually,
right, no
Dave.
worries. Sorry.
I can also hear your stomach rumbling over all that thunder.
Yeah, I know. I think I need a croissant.
Well, that would be nice. Well, I'm sure we can make it happen. Let's head over to the US now. The US election always rolls around pretty quickly. It is now less than a year away. Miley Hogan from Channel 7 News is covering all things in the lead up to the election. Miley, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
So, Miley, the latest polls have got Trump significantly ahead of Biden. Can I just ask, have you seen the polls showing that Nikki Haley, who until now has been regarded as a rank outsider, the South Carolina governor, there's a really interesting poll that's got her vastly more in front of Biden, creating a bit of a frisson of excitement in the Republican camp?
Yeah, look, Nikki Haley is a really interesting character over here. She's definitely getting a lot more airtime than she was at the beginning, and she's emerging as a force, really, in the Republican side of politics. But she hasn't gotten ahead of Trump, and that's really the poll that's going to matter for her. If she wants that nomination, then she has to get in front of Donald Trump, and that is not happening. But look, it will be really interesting to watch this over the next few months, because her name is being thrown around a lot more. She is making an impact over here, but she does have to win over Republicans, and that is going to be what is going to be the hardest part for her, because she'll have to take over Donald Trump, who is miles ahead than anyone else for that Republican nomination, and that will be her biggest challenge. But she is emerging as this really strong character. There was a lot of talk about Ron DeSantis at the beginning, but Nikki Haley really has become this strong Republican candidate, so it will be interesting to see what happens there. But Donald Trump is still well and truly the Republican frontrunner for the presidential nomination.
She was his ambassador to the UN, wasn't she? And she was a Trump loyalist, and it's only now that she's decided, without any sort of John McCain-style bitterness, she's just said, no, I'm running against him. He's not taking it well, though, is he?
No, it's been an interesting... It's been interesting to watch the debates on the television screens up here and see how they're all going, because there hasn't been too many candidates that have really come out swinging against Donald Trump. So it's been interesting to see all of that play out. But when we look at this poll as well, it's also interesting to see where Donald Trump sits in relation to Joe Biden, because he is now ahead of Joe Biden at 47% to 43%, and that is in that latest Wall Street Journal poll. And that is really having a bit of concern in Democratic circles about Joe Biden and his popularity here. But there are a few things to remember. They are polls, and we all know that polls can be drastically wrong, but also the election is in November next year, and when it comes to politics, that is an eternity away. Anything could change between now and then. So they will be working to see those turnarounds in those polls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Miley Hogan there for Channel 7 News over in the US. Coming up next is our 5AA News, followed by our overnight wrap of stories.
If you've ever wondered what the extra stands for in Physio Extra, that's easy.
Extra everything. Extra time with every appointment.
Extra care with a genuine hands-on approach to healing.
Extra expertise. Extra treatment options.
Extra appointments with same-day treatments available. Extra convenient because we have 6 Physio Extra locations around Adelaide. That's right, 6.
It's the extra in Physio Extra that makes all the difference. Visit physioextra.com for your nearest location or call for a same-day appointment.
The Samtas Seafoods pre-Christmas sale is on now. Absolutely unbeatable prices on South Australian cooked and caught king prawns for your festive season. How's this? Extra large king prawns at $26.99 a kilo and freshly cooked crayfish from $87.80 a kilo. Or grab Samtas Seafood snap frozen kilo packs of your favourite kinds of seafood. Mix and match 4 kilos, just $60. Don't miss their pre-Christmas sale on now. Samtas Seafoods, factory direct with convenient on-site free parking, Richmond Road, Richmond. Open Sunday too.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Windy, showers and thunderstorms, a high of 29. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
Another young life has been lost on our roads. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says a Toyota Hilux rolled on Main South Road at Second Valley last night, killing a 16-year-old boy.
The driver's a 17-year-old David Gardens boy. There were 3 other young passengers in the car as well, a 16-year-old boy and 2 15-year-old girls. They've all been taken to the Flinders Medical Centre for treatment, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening.
The teenager's death is the 106th life lost on our roads compared to 66 at this time last year. The Weather Bureau's warning of damaging winds until late this morning, with gusts hitting 85 k's an hour in some parts yesterday afternoon. Trees and branches have come down, cutting electricity to around 3,000 properties. The SES had a busy weekend, responding to hundreds of calls for help as strong winds and rain swept across the state. Well, Tropical Cyclone Jasper has been downgraded to a Category 1 system. However, residents in far north Queensland are being warned it will re-intensify to a Category 2 as it crosses the coast later this week. As a result, a cyclone watch is in place from Cape Melville to Townsville. And Queenslanders are this morning waking up without a leader following the resignation of Anastasia Palaszczuk. More from Matt Hepworth.
What started as a media briefing on Cyclone Jasper quickly turned south. Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk yesterday revealing she's stepping down from the top job and quitting politics altogether. The announcement marks the end of almost 9 years as Premier and 17 years as the member for Inala. And while Ms Palaszczuk's announcement paves the way for a new leader, who that is yet to be determined. Her deputy Stephen Miles is the front-runner, but Shannon Fentiman and Cameron Dick are also in contention. Labor caucus will meet on Friday to elect someone who will ultimately become the state's 40th Premier.
Higher interest repayments to service the nation's debt will be the biggest spending pressure on the federal budget. Australia's debt's been reduced to around $900 billion, but Wednesday's budget update will show rate hikes will mean the government has to find an extra $80 billion to help repay the debt over the next 11 years. Major reforms will cut back on the number of migrants allowed into Australia. The federal government's unveiling a new strategy aimed at streamlining the visa system. International students will face tougher scrutiny, while some highly specialised workers will have their entry permit fast-tracked. Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill says it's about making sure we're attracting the right people to tackle big national challenges.
So while we bring overall numbers of migration down to normal levels,
we're going to slightly increase the share of people who are coming here who bring those really specialised skills from around the world.
A deadly tornado has torn through the US state of Tennessee, killing at least 6 people and leaving widespread damage. Here's US correspondent Alison Petrowski.
Crews are searching for survivors and surveying the damage after a tornado outbreak flattened homes and ripped apart businesses north of Nashville. Clarksville resident Steve Jackson said he and his family only had a 30-second warning before it hit.
We got to the bathroom, hunkered down, right? She's on top of the babies. You know what we done? We prayed.
Officials say 6 people have been killed, including a toddler, with dozens treated for injuries in hospital. The mayor of Nashville has declared a state of emergency and implemented a curfew. 56 million Americans remain under a flood watch, with more severe weather forecast today.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide looks set to be on the verge of another key signing, this time star midfielder Connor Rozee. The dual All-Australian is reportedly on the verge of signing an 8-year extension, keeping him at Alberton until the end of 2032. Well, last night's Big Bash match between the Melbourne Renegades and Perth Scorchers had to be called off after match officials deemed the pitch was unsafe. It's the first time in the BBL's history that has happened. Adelaide United has dropped to 6th on the A-League table following a disappointing 2-0 loss at home against the Brisbane Roar. Nestoroy Irankunda was reduced to tears after being taken off around the hour mark. Coach Carl Viet telling 10 it wasn't a great match for him or the side.
Yeah, look, I would say he'd be disappointed with his performance tonight. He wants to achieve and have success, and he didn't manage that tonight, so he'll be just disappointed with that own performance.
Compounding the result, Musa Toure limped off with a quad injury late in the match. In overseas action, Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham are back on the winners list following a comprehensive 4-1 win at home against Newcastle. Manchester City fought back from a goal down to beat Luton 2-1. Fulham smashed West Ham 5-0, while Everton continued Chelsea's woes with a 2-0 win at Goodison Park. Eddie Jones' second tenure as coach of Japan is expected to be officially announced in the coming days after winning the race for the job. And Australia's women's rugby 7 side has won back-to-back titles, continuing their unbeaten start to the season. They've toppled France 29-26 in the final of the Cape Town Sevens. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Good morning. Big thunderstorms and rain rolling through at the moment. Take it easy on really wet roads around the area. And due to that, weather flooding over the road of Virginia, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road. Twisted traffic light at Hindmarsh, South Road near Grange Road. And a burst water main at Marden, although hard to spot today in the weather. OG Road near Kent Street, speeds of 25. Cameras, Blacks Road, Gillis Plains and Maxwell Road at Paraka. Multi-stop flights, multi-headaches. Not when you book with a Flight Centre Complex Air Specialist. Making round-the-world travel a breeze. Visit flightcentre.com.au to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now to the weather. Windy showers and storms. A high of 29 today. A shower or two tomorrow, 26. A possible shower Wednesday, 27. And 23 for Thursday. At the moment, 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Thunder, feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder.
5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
We do love this to roll this song out when it's pretty thunderous outside. It is 7:07. Wild weather this morning. We will catch up with Robert Charlton from the SES very shortly to hear about what happened over the weekend. But Sam Daddo has come in quickly with an update for those heading to the airport this morning. Morning, Sam.
Yes, morning, David. Morning, Lucy. Just spoke with the Adelaide Airport. All their 6 o'clock flights, their normal flights, got away perfectly fine. They're currently now just in a holding pattern because of this wild weather, of course. We spoke to them a few weeks ago regarding that lightning storm. No workers are allowed on the tarmac when there's lightning. They're not expecting delays to be too strong. So if you're on the way to the airport, it shouldn't be too bad this morning. But if you are, 8223 0000.
You wouldn't want to be carrying a Samsonite out there on the tarmac at the moment. Certainly not one with a metal handle on it.
Thank you, Sam. Like you mentioned, if you are on the way to the airport or if you're there waiting in the queue, 8223 0000. Let's head over to the SES now. Robert Charlton is the Chief of Staff there. Morning to you, Robert.
Good morning, Lucy. Morning, David.
Tell us about the weekend, first of all, Robert. I know there was wind, there was rain, storm damage probably still left over from the last one. How many call-outs did you guys have?
So it's been quite a mixed bag. So since Friday and through to now, we've had over 550 call-outs right across the state.
So it's been pretty widespread?
Yes, it has. So we've certainly seen areas around Adelaide and sort of the outer suburbs, southeast, quite a lot in the northern parts of the state, so Eyre Peninsula and the mid-north. We saw quite a lot of rain in that area on Sunday.
It's been such a weird weather pattern, Robert, and the expectation, there's still clearly a lot of weather around right now, so you probably your workload will be getting bigger before it gets smaller, I'd imagine.
Look, we're hoping that this is the tail end of it, but there is still a severe weather warning for damaging winds. Even though there's still a bit of rain and thunderstorms out there at this point, there's no warnings from the Bureau of Meteorology. But we have seen an increase in requests since people have been getting up this morning, and so we do ask people to just take care on the roads and just be really mindful that there's been quite a lot of reports of trees down as well as that water across the road, and we want people to drive safely to the conditions.
What are waiting times looking like at the moment? If you place a call this morning, how quickly can things be rectified?
At this stage, because it's been quite spread out, it's been pretty good. Our crews have, most of them have had a chance to have some rest overnight, although obviously it has been, a protracted event. But at this stage, we don't have long waiting times in most areas.
Good news.
Were there anything, Robert, just from Friday, we were expecting catastrophic fire danger. Did you guys have many call-outs on Friday before the wet weather?
We did see some on Friday, and one of the things that does happen in those hot conditions is sometimes we see limbs and branches come down, so that can be an issue for us. Unfortunately, it's not a good time for trees. They either come down in the heat or in the wind or in the cold and wet weather.
And if people need you this morning, what's the best number to ring?
If anyone needs SES assistance anywhere in South Australia, they can call 132 500.
Excellent. Thank you. Robert Charlton.
Thanks, Robert.
There from the SES. If it is wild and woolly where you are, stay indoors. Send us your rain gauge if you want to brave the weather. 0448 08 1395, or jump on the phone. Let us know how you're going in your suburb.
Di says they had 65 mils in Mount Compass on Saturday alone. She says, haven't checked the gauge yet this morning. There's too much thunder and rain around at the moment, and I'm loving it.
A few comments on the Foodland Facebook live stream. Jay says large thunderstorm over Elizabeth, very heavy rain. Heather says loud thunder and lightning around Andrews Farm. Susan says heavy rain, thunder and lightning over Golden Grove. Karen says huge storm, hope everyone's animals are okay. Janet says Selix Beach still have gale force winds and rain. And Julie, woman who shares my exact sentiment, says so over this weather. I'm with you, Julie. Let's get to some news that happened over the weekend and overnight. First of all, to politics, not in our state, but the Queensland Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk, no doubt a surprise to not many people. She has resigned from her position as Premier of the Sunshine State as of, I believe, is it this Friday, Dave?
Yeah.
Here is a bit of Queensland's Premier, Anastasia.
I've been thinking about it for a while. Sorry, I wasn't going to get upset today. I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's the right time. And it's time for renewal. It's, I have a great deputy in Stephen Miles, and I believe he'll make an excellent Premier. I have no job, so come January I'll be also finishing up as the member for Inala at the end of this month as well. But look, I think I will be out there promoting Queensland in some form of capacity.
The backstory is that she's way behind in the polls and was probably going to lose the next election anyway, which is scheduled to be held next year under their fixed 4-year term. So it's less of a sort of bowing out gracefully than reading the writing on the wall and going, well, I'm stuffed, I'd better disappear before the voters make me disappear. But she's the last of the COVID premiers, Anastasia Palaszczuk, because poor old Steve Marshall got unceremoniously dumped after just one term. Dan Andrews has now quit. Mark McGowan quit in Western Australia. Gladys Berejiklian was dragged out with the boots on amid scandal. So the last of the COVID premiers, which I guess you've got to give her some points for longevity, because it was a tough period to negotiate your way through as a leader with all of the discussions around the expansion of state power, plus on top of that just the sheer exhaustion of running the joint in the midst of a pandemic.
So she's been Premier for 9 years. Is that the same as Dan Andrews? They're both the longest serving
premiers
for a while.
About that as well, I think, yeah. I reckon it was about that.
3 people up for her seat. Stephen Miles, the current deputy, and is it the health minister, Shannon Fentiman?
I must admit, I haven't really paid that much attention to that government. They haven't really had any national sort of influence at all, I don't think. Like, there's no... It hasn't been like the Andrews government, which was so polarising, or Mark McGowan, who was so interesting in that he sort of turned Western Australia into its own sort of hermit kingdom when COVID was on and wouldn't let anybody in. But Palaszczuk's just sort of been up there doing her bit. I think that the 10th question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire should be, for $1 million, spell Anastasia Palaszczuk. Because I don't think anyone can spell it.
I'm more confident with Palaszczuk than I am with Anastasia, to be honest.
Try. How do you spell Palaszczuk?
P-A-L-A-S...
Yeah.
Palace, A-C-Z-U-K.
That is very close, Liz.
Yes, I knew there was a Z and a K.
P-A-L-A-S-Z-C-Z-U-K.
I missed one Z.
You only missed one Z?
Yeah, that'll get you.
I must have to give you $1 million. That would have been awkward.
That would have been a nice Monday morning for me.
Don't get your hopes up.
Katrina's given us a call on the weather this morning.
Qantas has all my money now.
Good morning, Katrina.
Hi, how you going?
Good, thank you. How are you out there?
Good. Look, I've just come down the north-south motorway and it's 80k zone at the moment and it's still a racetrack.
How are the drivers? Lights on, or is it surprising how many don't put their lights on?
Lights are on, but the speed is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It drives you mad, doesn't it? I just, for the life of me, I saw that over the weekend too on the Southern Expressway. People acting like it's a sunny day. Just crazy.
Thank you, Katrina, for your call. Just in that vein, with people speeding, we've just heard from SAPOL that awful story that there's been 106th life lost on our road compared to 66 this time last year. Well, yesterday the state opposition has made some calls for more cars to be crushed to combat the out-of-control road toll for this year. In 2021, 567 cars were crushed. In 2022, there were 917 cars crushed, but from January to October this year, only 360 cars have been destroyed, despite our high road toll. Here is Vincent Tarzia, the Shadow Transport Minister, talking yesterday.
Take their car, take their motorbike, hit them where it hurts, hit them at the hip pocket, make sure that you take away their pride and joy, their vehicle, so they can stop reoffending.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? How do you explain such a huge collapse in the numbers? Well, that's about a third of what it was, 360.
I would love to talk with someone who works at a car crushing place. What's your day look like?
Well, pretty quiet at the moment, I guess.
Pretty quiet. Well, when it's really busy, 917 cars crushed last year. How do you do that? How long does crushing a car take? I have many questions. What do you do with it then? Please, if you do work in a car crushing yard,
I think you just take it down to that hillside in Lonsdale and dump it there, don't you? Is that weird car graveyard? Is it still down there? I think it is.
The weirdest image I've seen was during COVID was the airport graveyard, where the planes weren't actually crushed. They were just parked in the middle of the outback.
Sitting around.
Because no one was flying.
In the desert.
Trevor in Seaford's giving us a call this morning. Morning, Trevor.
G'day, here's one. There's a bloke in a van called Brighter Living, right? No lights on. You couldn't see him at stages and he just turned up Sir Donald Bradman Drive. So, someone wants to turn his switch on.
The irony of the situation.
That's what you call a misnomer.
All about safety. Thank you very much, Trevor. So Sir Donald Bradman Drive, obviously very busy this time of the morning. But if you are heading down Sir Donald Bradman to the airport, please let us know if you're on time or if you've been rescheduled or anything like that. Would love to hear from you this morning. Just a quick one as well. Those who have heard of the 3G network would be most of our listeners. The 3G mobile network is set to be turned off this week, or the beginning stages of it. There are particular concerns for elderly people who connect their personal alert systems to 3G networks, like we give away our Care Alert Smart Dialer every Thursday.
If you've got one of them, you don't need to worry about it.
That's right, but some other brands probably or other systems are still on the 3G network. So if you think this is you, just be aware of it, because from December the 15th, this Friday, Vodafone will turn off their 3G network. Telstra turns off their 3G network on June 30 next year, and Optus will turn theirs off in September next year. So some devices that aren't 4G compatible won't work from these dates. So some of the devices are already affected, and the experts are warning that if you're not sure about it, look for any lights that have used to be on but are no longer on, any warning lights on your medical alert systems or anything that runs on your 3G network. They may already have stopped working. But if you are with Vodafone on the 3G network, that'll be shut down for good this Friday. Coming up next, we will revisit some of our sports stories of the morning and get to some of your Dutton's text. But first, let's check traffic.
Thanks, Lucy. Big thunderstorms and heavy rain passing through various areas today. Take it easy on the drive into work and look out for flooding over the road of Virginia, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road. Hind Marsh, a twisted traffic light, South Road near Grange Road, and a burst water main this morning at Marden, OG Road near Kent Street, speeds at 25. Cameras this morning, Maxwell Road, Paraka, and Montague Road at Modbury North. Crash that morning craving. Click and collect on the OTR app to indulge in a range of delicious barista-made hot and iced coffees made just how you like it. OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
An 85-year-old motorcyclist, a Morgan man, died during a collision with a kangaroo in the Murray Mallee. Crashes involving kangaroos up by a third. Something's happening, and I suspect there's a lot more roos around the place. Professor David Lindenmayer.
Weekday mornings from 9.
When there are very high numbers and we can do accurate counts of animals, I think there is a case for culling.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
If you love your home but you've never been in love with your kitchen, the answer is not far away.
No, just 15 minutes up the freeway, actually. Although in today's weather conditions, you might want to make that at least 20 minutes up the freeway, because that's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Now, everything is manufactured there too, meaning you won't be waiting months and months for everything to be shipped in.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design will organise all the sub-trades as well, so you'll be dealing with just one project manager and one fixed price.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not far to go to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at their website, balhannakitchens.com.au.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dog, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Pemberthy and Lucy Loken.
7:22, Will Goodings is off on his Christmas holidays. He'll be back in mid-January. So it's Lucy and Dave for the week, and I will be back next week with a surprise announcer.
Oi!
Oi, summer breakfast.
That's how rumours start.
I hope it is a bit more summer weather for our next week with myself and a co-host. That won't be you, Dave, but we are here for the week. Sam's just sent me a message saying across South Australia currently 6,100 or so customers affected with power outages. So if that's you this morning, please let us know. It's going to be maybe a bit of a wait today given the weather and the lightning dangers around for SA Power Networks, but please let us know this morning, 8223 0000. And in exciting news, we live to give, especially around Christmas time. Anyone who calls into the show and gets on air this week goes in the running to win a stay at Mount Lofty House.
Mount Lofty House is awesome.
Just
we had
anyone
the
that
Christmas
calls up
party
the
there
show.
last year, didn't we?
That's right. You're in the running to win a 2-night stay. We will announce the winner on Friday.
We didn't have it there this Friday, did we? Where was it Friday night?
The Lion
That's
Hotel.
Right.
Not quite Mount Lofty House. It was black tie last year. This year was definitely not black tie. But just call in. Call in about anything you like this morning. Have a chat with Dave and I on air.
We're getting a lot of feedback about the crushing or non-crushing of cars. And I've got to say, I agree with these sentiments. Someone here says, I don't understand. Why don't they just sell the cars and donate the money to charity? Isn't it a waste of money and the car itself to just crush it? Terry says, why crush cars? Recycle them as spare parts. There's a huge market for them and donate the profits to victims of crime. Another one here, 917 cars not crushed, re-registered and sold at government auctions. Use the money to go towards hospital funding or whatever will be of use rather than adding to metal waste. Yes, I think all of those suggestions make perfect sense.
That is the Dutton's text line, of course, 0448 08 1395. Call into Dutton's Mount Barker or Murray Bridge, purchase a new or used vehicle and go in the draw to win $3K. It is time for our sports update of the morning. I had a text from Rowie just before saying, sorry, I'm on York Peninsula and reception is definitely dicey today given the weather, so Rowie is not joining us. He will, of course, be on air this afternoon with Timmy G's $19 schnitty, Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel. But in lieu of Rowie, we thought we'd bring back our mate Tom Wren. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Luce. Morning, David. Actually, I saw Timmy G yesterday at the soccer. He was doing a great job down there in a room I was in, and not a great result for the Reds, but Timmy G was in fine form as he always is. But he'll be very excited about this news, and it is that Connor Rozee, it's front page news today of the paper if you're just waking up, is on the verge of signing a huge contract extension which would make him the highest paid Port player, I would think, in their history, given the salary caps are going up every season. 8-year extension which would take him out until 2032. So he's 23 at the moment, and by the time this contract is reportedly set to end, which we think he's going to ink as early as today, he will be 32 years of age. So it's
amazing.
It's a risk.
There's
like
no
anything.
figure on it, is there? Like, that's not made public, is it?
It's not made public, but I would think a player of his quality, the salary cap going, it has to be $1 million plus a year.
Wow.
It has to be close.
Rennie,
staggering, isn't it?
It's big money.
By 32, is that career done at 32, do you reckon?
I mean, hopefully not, but yeah, it can be. And this is the risk, right, Lucy? So, if you do big contracts, he could tear 2 ACLs, he could have, there could be all number of things that go wrong, but this is the way it's going. It's more in player camps, and Connor Rozee, I mean, the resume.
How does that work? If that happens within, God forbid it did, but if it happened within a couple of years, then he's still contractually, they'd have to pay him out, wouldn't they?
Yep, it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
They're guaranteed contracts. So the resume so far, though, is impressive. I mean, he's 23, 107 games, best and fairest winner last year, runner-up this year, 2-time All-Australian already. He's probably their next captain. They haven't announced who is replacing Tom Jonas, so he's got all the tricks. And
will they make him captain yet?
If you don't give it to him, I'm just wondering. Yeah, it's probably him or Ollie, isn't it? It's one of those two.
Does Ollie want to do it? Because by his own admission, he didn't have a very good year this year.
Yeah,
and he was really hugely critical of himself about the way he played. Does he want to be in that headspace of having that back on his plate?
That's the thing. If you're giving it to the best player right now, I think it's got to be Connor Rozee.
Huge expectation, though. Huge responsibility.
Enormous. But look, he's an impressive young guy. I like it to be, let Ollie get back to his best, and he's still a leader anyway. Love Ollie Wines. We got to know him really well here.
Yeah, he's a really good
on
bloke.
breakfast. It's a tough call. It's a really tough call, and they've got to get that right. But I think it's probably advantage Rozee right now.
Yeah,
just a gut feel. And I'm talking about, that's a big deal, right, for Connor Rozee. Say he's on $8 million for 8 years, and that's what he gets. That's huge. But you compare that to who we spoke about a little bit earlier, Shea Atani in baseball, a $1 billion deal for 10 years. John Rahm, $900 million just for signing on. Money in sport.
It's just crazy.
He's mad.
I'd never heard of that guy until you mentioned him this morning.
The Atani guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not exactly a household name.
Yeah. He's
going
to be getting
salt in Brunei. It's crazy.
$100 million a year, from next
I'd
year.
do it for half that.
Yeah.
I'd do it just for $100, play baseball.
It's frightening money, isn't it? It really is. And look, John Rahm, who I just talked about, coming to live next year. I mean, how good is that?
$900 million sign-on fee.
Unreal.
Hasn't even hit a ball yet.
No. Not one ball.
Ronnie, has that merger happened, PGA and Liv? Where are we at with that?
No, they were talking about it, but it actually hasn't. It's all sort of gone quiet since. We're all sort of waiting to see what it's going to look like, and the DP World Tour, which is the old European Tour, has changed, and it's more global now, but we still haven't come to any sort of contractual or public announcement of where Liv and, the DP and PGA Tours are in terms of coming together. But if they get Tony Finau, which is also another name, and Tyrrell Hatton, who are also being spoken about, they're taking serious quality way from the PGA to LIV. There's got to be some kind of merger somewhere. But nothing yet in terms of developments from, when they said that would probably be happening a few months ago.
Thank you, Rennie. 5AA News coming up next. More on the Sports Show, of course, from 4 p.m. tonight, $19 schnitty, Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Cup of tea, dear? The kettle's on. Would you like a cup of tea, love? Cup of tea, dear?
What?
If you're concerned about hearing loss for a loved one, book an appointment with Can Do Hearing. CanDoHearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Now, parents, you might have noticed your kids being suspiciously well behaved lately, offering to mow the lawn, do the dishes, all of that sort of stuff.
Well, it can only mean one thing, Dave, that Santa's Wonderland is back with sessions right through until December 24. It's where Christmas begins.
That's right, Lise. Thousands of families flock like elves every year because just one ticket gets you 3 hours of unlimited Christmas fun.
Santa's Wonderland is packed with family fun like 3 giant jumping castles, an ice skating rink, tobogganing, live stage shows, activities and 12 family-friendly carnival rides, plus an amazing 10-stop Christmas activity trail. And there's no need to pay extra for the rides once you're in the arena. It is all included in your ticket.
You can pre-purchase tickets online and save, which sounds like extra money for prezzies. Don't miss Santa's Wonderland at the Adelaide Showground, on now until December 24. Tickets on sale now, santaswonderland.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Windy with showers and storms, a high of 29. With the 7:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
There's been no rest for the SES, with more than 550 calls for help since Friday due to the wild weather. Robert Charlton from the SES says it's been pretty widespread.
We have seen an increase in requests since people have been getting up this morning, and so we do ask people to just take care on the roads and just be really mindful that there's been quite a lot of reports of trees down as well as that water across the road, and we want people to drive safely to the conditions.
7,000 properties are without power across the state, stretching up to Quorn near the Flinders Ranges, and some flights have been delayed at the Adelaide Airport. A deadly tornado has torn through the US state of Tennessee, killing at least 6 people, including a toddler, and leaving widespread damage. The mayor of Nashville has declared a state of emergency and implemented a curfew with more severe weather forecasts today. A teenager has died after a Toyota Hilux rolled on Main South Road at Second Valley last night. The 16-year-old boy from Blackwood was a passenger in the car. The driver, a 17-year-old Dover Gardens boy, and 3 other teenagers all suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The boy's death is the 106th life lost on our roads. It was 66 at this time a year ago. Migrant workers are being told they'll be freed from exploitation under a major overhaul of Australia's migration strategy. Labor plans to halve the overall migrant intake over the next 2 years. A specialist skills pathway will be established to help businesses recruit people. ACTU Assistant Secretary Liam O'Brien says it'll be the first time an evidence-based approach is applied to skilled migration.
No longer will employers just be able to claim shortages. We'll actually have a system that determines through Jobs and Skills Australia where skill shortages are occurring and why they're occurring, so that we can use temporary skilled migration to meet those genuine shortages.
Education ministers are preparing to thrash out priorities for the year ahead. They're meeting in Sydney today to determine how $72 billion in school funding will be used. Addressing teacher shortages will likely be a priority. Queensland MPs will vote on who their new leader should be, with the news Anastasia Palaszczuk is stepping down. She's the state's 39th Premier and has been in the role since 2015. She says it's time for someone new.
The next Premier of Queensland is for caucus to decide on Friday, giving MPs time to come back. And soon the people of Queensland will have their say. I have fought the good fight, I have given everything. But now is the time for me to find out what else life has to offer.
Australians are being offered alternative medications as stocks of popular antibiotics and antidepressants fall ahead of Christmas. The TGA says 446 medicines are affected by shortages and discontinuations. Over 40 critical medicines are unavailable until early 2024. And the latest version of the COVID vaccines now available at pharmacies to combat rising cases around the country. The jab, which targets the Omicron variant, can be used as a primary vaccination or a booster. Pharmacy Guild National President Trent Toomey says anyone who hasn't had a booster in the past 6 months should get the shot.
The Commonwealth Government has approved the latest version of the COVID-19 vaccination. There is a new wave spreading through the community, and just as it's important to vaccinate yourselves and your family each year against influenza, it is also important to keep your COVID-19 vaccinations up to date.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide star Connor Rosie set to sign the equal longest current contract in the AFL. AFL Media is reporting the 23-year-old midfielder is close to signing on for an 8-year extension. Well, Adelaide United's dropped back-to-back games and now sit in 6th spot on the A-League table following a disappointing 2-0 loss at home to the Brisbane Roar. Meantime, Bruno Fornaroli has put forward a strong case for a Socceroos recall a month out from the Asian Cup. The 36-year-old striker scored 4 goals as Melbourne Victory beat Western Sydney 4-3 away from home. Victory coach Tony Popovic says Fornaroli is still improving in the twilight of his career.
All the goals are great because they're all different goals for Bruno, and I think that's what's most pleasing. What he's added a lot this year, he's scoring goals inside the box. The goals he scores outside the box is because of his quality and talent, and that will always remain, but he's adding more.
Meantime, in the English Premier League, Tottenham has smashed Newcastle 4-1. Manchester City took care of Luton 2-1. Everton's strong form continued with a 2-0 win at home against Chelsea, while Fulham smashed West Ham 5-0. To basketball, the LA Lakers have won the NBA's first in-season tournament, beating the Indiana Pacers in the final. Star LeBron James had 24 points and 11 rebounds in the 123-109 result, but says it's too early to start thinking about the title.
There's too many steps that needs to be taken still in order for our team to be who we want to be once the postseason starts. But, as of today, I like the way we played in the semifinals on Thursday and then tonight. Our defensive intensity, in order for us to win and win at the highest level, we have to defend, and we've been doing that over the last few weeks.
Each player earns $500,000 for winning that in-season tournament. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
Good morning. Big thunderstorms and heavy rain passing through in areas today. Take it easy on the drive into work and look out for a smash at Aldgate. It's on the freeway inbound just near the Stirling interchange there. Got some flooding over the road at the moment at Virginia Anglevale Road near Burton Road, and a blackout affecting lights at Tea Tree Gully, North East Road near Hancock Road. Cameras below Eagle Farm and Darley Road at Paradise. RAA members save up to 40% off RRP at Snooze, including selected mattresses and bed frames, plus 20% off Snooze branded bedding and linen. Hurry ends Sunday. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
To the weather, windy showers and storms, a high of 29, a shower or two tomorrow, 26, possible shower on Wednesday, 27, and showers on Thursday, 23. At the moment, 19. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
FIVEAA Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
7:37 on this Monday morning. It's not quite a chilly Monday morning, but it's rainy and stormy, so please travel safe if you are out and about on the roads. Coming up this half hour, we're speaking with the CFS. We were expecting bushfire conditions on Friday, pretty catastrophic. And it's supposed to be December where we have further bushfire warnings, but not quite happening at the minute. Also, the movie bowl returns after 8 o'clock, and we're talking cherries after 8:30. If you're looking to get your cherries in the next 2 weeks, because Christmas Day is exactly 2 weeks away, you might have a bit of trouble after the storms, but we'll find out more from Tony Hannaford, who manages Torrens Valley Orchards. But it's my great pleasure to welcome to the studio our brand new 5AA Afternoons host, Stacey Lee. She'll be joining us in January. Good morning, Stacey.
Morning, Luce. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Hey, great having you in, Stace. Although I got to say, I'm entering the vortex of shame here. You've been at 5AA for all of about 2 minutes. Now, unlike me, who's been here for 9 years and working with Lucy for 5 and Sam for roughly the same amount of time, you remembered that yesterday was Lucy's birthday and that today is Sam's birthday. I forgot both of those facts.
You did not come into work and not say happy birthday.
I did. I said nothing. I've been sitting here for more than an hour and a half with Lucy, and I did not wish her a happy birthday. You've even brought a cake in.
Yeah, I've got something for you, Luce.
Thank you. Now, who do I have to thank for the cake, Stacey? Is it you, or did you make it?
No,
You're a baker?
no, you would not want a cake that I'd make. No, I thought I'd do the right thing. Stopped in at my local Foodland, so here you go, nice little chocky mug for you.
Thank you. Good. Sam and I can have our Foodland chocky cake for breakfast, which, well, we've already had brekkie. It'll be our lunch at about 9:30 this morning.
Perfect.
Well, we're really excited to welcome you. You've come in ahead of your starting date, which is January 15th.
Yes, well done.
Excellent.
Maybe I should put that in my diary as well.
Don't get your days wrong.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times. You sort of forget that the show's on. But, you know, it's great that you come across, Stacey. I've got to say, when I heard the whispers doing the rounds that you were heading our way, I was like, that is excellent. Because we worked a little bit years ago when you were at Sky.
Yeah. So I used to host a show on Sky.
Yeah.
Daytime one, I'll just point out. Not an after dark show.
Right.
Good morning to the good people of Sky News. No, they were very fun to work with. But you've got to make that delineation, don't you?
They're very different,
Yes.
very different programs depending on what time of day you're watching it.
Yes.
But you've got a really diverse background, and you spent a lot of time in Sydney too, didn't you?
Yeah. I was born in Sydney, grew up there, but I have been here for nearly 11 years now. So I moved over for work with Sky.
Yeah.
And worked for Sky News, police reporter at Channel 7 here in Adelaide for a while, and then over to the dark side, did politics.
Our mates down the road.
Yes, at the public broadcaster, and now I've decided to come back into the real world for a bit.
That's right.
Stacey,
Re-entered society.
For those people who by chance haven't heard you, despite being in the media for 11 years, what are some key things we should know about you? What do you like? What are your interests? What do you do on the weekend if it's not politics?
If it's not politics, well, usually I just like to eat my way through Adelaide. Basically, I just love eating.
Spoilt for choice.
We are so lucky. I just love getting out and about, going to new restaurants, new bars, at pub in the hills on the weekend, which is beautiful to sit in a nice country pub.
I always love talking to people too who've come here from interstate, because SA has this sort of a bit of a sense of insecurity, I think, that's come from years of being teased by sort of eastern states types. But I know quite a few people now who've come from Sydney in particular and have come to Adelaide probably not knowing that much about Adelaide, and then gone, this place is awesome. Like, it's cheaper.
Yep.
The food's better.
Easier to have a nicer lifestyle. That was me. I'd never been to Adelaide before I moved here.
Really?
But
not once?
No. I was producing for Sky in Sydney, and they said, hey, would you like a job on air? And I went, yeah, great. And they said, okay, it's in Adelaide. And I was like, okay, don't know anyone there, never been.
So when you got told that, what was the reaction like from your Sydney mates? Were they like, oh, pity it's in Adelaide?
Yeah, there were a lot of people saying that. But I had I wasn't one of those Sydney sider people. Like, I love going to Melbourne. And, and now that I'm here, I'm here for good. Like, my mum's moved here to be closer to me and my husband. Yeah, she's got a grand dog. Would you call it? Like, we've got a little toy cavoodle that she's just obsessed with. So she's moved here 2 years ago. So
that's cool.
She's bought an apartment where
the whole Lee clan.
Yep,
settling in.
They're all here. Sorry to all the Greeks of Adelaide. We're starting to take over. I'm joining the group.
That's good. That's good. Well, because you've got that Greek background, haven't you?
Yeah. Both my parents are Greek Cypriot.
Yeah, right. Excellent.
Yep. So I'm hosting the big fat Greek Christmas at my place this year. My poor husband.
What are you doing? The souvlaki, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, we're doing big barbecue, and we're still doing a ham and a turkey.
Have you got one of those grills that twist slowly, the rotisserie ones?
Yeah, we've got it on the barbecue.
Oh, yeah, so you sit on top?
Yeah.
Have you ever spoken to Tom Coates and Tonus about cooking tips for a spit?
Well, actually, I'm not sure if the minister will appreciate me saying, no, I'm sure he will. My first Easter in Adelaide, he invited me to go to Greek Easter with him.
Oh, lovely.
Because when you don't know anyone, I'm not sure I took him up on the offer, but thanks anyway, Minister.
How many are coming? Greeks and Italians, obviously large families. How many are you expecting?
Not too many this year. We've only got 16. But if I was having big fat Greek Christmas with all my family, it's about 75.
Wow. No one does like that sort of banquet type food as well as the Greeks, I don't reckon.
And it's easy. Everyone brings a plate of food and you take home a full plate of food because there's that much.
Yeah.
And it's just serve yourself. There's no we don't wash dishes or do fancy champagne glasses. It's paper cups. Everyone's drinking it, whatever it is, the punch that someone's made. And
just rip in on it.
Are you excited to not be working breakfast hours?
Turning the 4 a.m. alarm off felt very good, Luce. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that to you too.
No, that's all right. That's fine. You'll be back to a normal lifestyle.
Yeah.
As of now, you're on Christmas holidays, then of course coming in for afternoons.
Yes.
So we'll be able to hear you from 1:30, which means no, you don't have to get up at 4 a.m.
No, I don't. But I'm hoping I still want to do a bit of politics and still want to do a bit of news. The news doesn't stop. So
totally.
I'm going to continue that. We'll still do.
Well, we'll get you on breakfast as well.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Yep.
Will and I were talking about that with Lucy and Sam and our boss Craig last week, and we would love to have you as a regular spot as part of the Brekkie Show stage because
I'd love to.
It's one of the reasons why. I mean, I know you got your passion for the city and all the lifestyle stuff as well, but you've got a great political head on your shoulders, so it'd be really good to have you as part of our random chats.
Perfect.
On the Brekkie Show.
I'd love that.
And we won't ring you at 4 a.m. to ask you, what you've got in mind. You can just saunter in here at a much more civilised hour.
Perfect.
How is the weather? You're in the inner eastern suburbs. How's the weather on your way in this morning?
Nuts. Branches down everywhere.
Does your cavoodle freak out?
No, he's lazy.
Well, that's good.
I don't know how I got so lucky to have the laziest dog in Adelaide. I had to go and find him and be like, Murray, are you okay? Where are you? And he was just sleeping on the Yeah.
That's a good name for a dog.
He's like an old man name, isn't it?
Muzzer.
Murray.
Do you call him Muzzer as well?
Yeah, Muzzer. And
the
then
Muzz.
All of the ridiculous dog
the mighty
nicknames
Muzz
that come with it. No, he didn't care. But no, branches down. It was flooding on some little, just like surface flooding on some roads. It's nuts out there.
Crazy.
So take care. There were some crazy drivers too. So please.
Need your cavoodle to run some how to cope with storms classes for my cavoodle, because my cavoodle's just a total nervous wreck. I left the house, it was just sitting there in the corner chain smoking. It's terrible.
Like father, like son.
Stacey,
found the damn
on your way home, someone's just let us know that the lights have gone out on Fullerton Road, including the Greenhill Road and Fullerton Road intersection.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's me.
So
Thanks for that.
Avoid the Greenhill Road, Fullerton Road intersection.
I will avoid it.
Your way home. Well, thank you for coming in, Stacey.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We look forward to January 15. Will be back. Stacey will be in the chairs in the Arvos.
You'll be great.
I don't know what the rest of our on-air teams are doing. It's a bit staggered this year, but January 15, you will be here.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Good to have someone here who can remember birthdays as well. So that's another added bonus.
There you go. I'll keep it outside for you, Lou.
You know what? I am offended. I wasn't, but now I am.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, you should be. I was mentioned at our team get-together on Friday. It was like, anyway, I'm entering the vortex of shame.
I'll just leave that there and I'll head out now, shall I? You're welcome.
Let's awkwardly move right along and check traffic for your drive in this morning.
Thanks, Lucy. Storms and lots of rain passing through various areas. Take it easy on wet roads in the drive-in. And look out for a smash at Aldgate this morning. It's on the freeway inbound near the Bridgewater Ram. Martin burst water main, OG Road near Kent Street, speeds of 25. And Virginia, flooding over the road, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road. You find cameras this morning, Halsey Road, Elizabeth East, and Maxwell Road at Paraka. McCafe, it's the place where rich ice lattes and cool ice mochas go to chill out. Drive through for a barista-made ice-cold coffee at McCafe today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You can do just about anything online. Shop, meet new friends, watch reruns of your favourite TV shows or movies. But there's one thing you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
There's naughty or nice, stunning and stylish, or tasty and tasteful. Merry Christmas, folks. I'm Brett Charlesworth, and they're just three of the eye-popping Christmas gifts we make for you at Charlesworth Nuts. They're all overflowing with our amazing nuts and chocolates and made with great pride by our talented South Aussie team. With 100 different gift boxes, packs and hampers, there is literally something for everyone. You simply can't go wrong. 11 family-owned stores or shop online. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Many people don't know that they don't need health insurance to be treated in a private hospital. Many procedures are more affordable than you may think, and access to a wide range of specialists and services is just a phone call away. So if you're considering surgery, there are various payment options available, and we can arrange a personal quote. If you have questions about paying for your own procedure in a private hospital, give Western Hospital a call on 8159 1200 to discuss.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA Summer Breakfast. David Pimberthy and Lucy Loken.
Bit of REM to kickstart you. If you're heading into work, it is 10 to 8. It's pretty woolly and wintry out there, so please have your lights on if you are driving in. If you are someone who has lost their power this morning, it has jumped up. There are 13,700 customers around Adelaide affected with power outages this morning. A lot of those, there's 2,500 affected up in the northeast. When my map loads, it just looks like Tea Tree Gully there. There's another 1,000 around the Fullerton Road, Green Hill Road intersection. But just check in with SA Power Networks for when your power is set to be restored. Also love to hear from you this morning with your rain gauge figures. How much rain did we cop? It was SA's coldest December day on Saturday with the wind and the rain. So please let us know on the Duntons text line 0448 08 1395. Moving along now, though, to another weather-related chat, and it seems funny to be talking about it on a day that is so wet. But, of course, lightning can mean, of course, bushfire danger. And usually in December it is the height of heat. And I'm devastated that my birthday was raining and 15 degrees down at Henley Beach. But anyway, we're moving right along, and I won't be bitter about it till this time next year. But Alison May from the CFS, she's the Director of Community Risk and Resilience, joins us this morning. Good morning, Alison.
Good morning.
So Friday was a little bit of a non-event, really, in the end, wasn't it? Fire-wise, Alison, which is always good news.
Look, it turned out the best possible way that it could, but we did have over 30,000 lightning strikes, and the CFS was dealing with in the region of 35 fires across the state. So any one of those, if we weren't prepared the way we were, certainly could have taken off, because the weather did do what we expected it to do. So those strong gusts, and even though we didn't see them in the Adelaide metro area, across the rest of the state, it was quite significant.
Yeah.
People who are heading away for the holidays may not be aware, if they haven't travelled regionally, there are now, is it 4 fire danger ratings? It used to be more than that, but now it's down to 4. Is that right, Alison?
Yeah, so we've adopted a nationwide system. So as we often do when you're travelling and you're crossing the border, you don't have to work out what a new rating system is in each state.
How do people check out the fire danger rating before they head off?
So there's 2 things that you can do. Firstly, know the fire danger district that you live in, but also know the fire danger district that you're transiting to and that you're travelling to. So having something like the Alert SA app downloaded on your phone means that you can program in request alerts for the area that you're travelling through and the area that you're travelling to, so that when you're on the road, you don't have to wait until you see smoke and then get online. You can actually get alerts if there's any kind of incident going on. At the moment, it could be flooding or fire.
Are you surprised each year, Alison, how many people don't have a bushfire survival plan? Every year, just before the fire season, the advertising gets rolled out about having a plan. But does it surprise you that for a country so prone to bushfires, actually how many people don't have a plan in place?
Yeah, look, it's amazing the amount of people who are actually in high-risk areas that don't even know that they are. Often, in those peri-urban sort of suburbs, it feels very much like you're not in an area that would be at risk of bushfire. But that's the thing that we find is that there's a large portion of people don't even realise that they're in a high-risk area, let alone that means that they should have a bushfire plan. But, I get it. People are busy, people are time poor. It's one of those things, I know I should, I'll get around to it. But particularly, even if it's just taking 5 minutes to have a conversation with the family, jotting a few things down, it will give you somewhere to start on those bad days, because you don't want those bad days to arrive and not even know where you want to begin and not even agree on whether your plan is to leave early or stay and defend.
Yeah. Do people need to spend a bit more time familiarising themselves with their holiday surroundings, Alison? Because you think about the last few years, there's been a hell of a lot of bushfires that have happened over the holiday season in areas where people, like thinking about the south coast of New South Wales, for example, where you get people going down from Sydney or Canberra. Or a place like Malakuta in Victoria. It's quite easy to imagine a situation where you're in a place like that on holiday and you're actually not really that even familiar with the local roads in terms of getting out of a place.
Yeah, exactly. And we've learnt from those times that people often get caught short on holidays. They're trying to switch off to everything, but things like I said, knowing what fire district you're in and having those alerts so that you are aware of what's going on. When you arrive at a destination, asking the park managers, if it's a caravan park or the hoteliers or whatever, what their plan is in an emergency, and talking to your fellow travellers about, okay, if we get woken up in the middle of the night, what's our meeting point? Are we going to meet out by the car? Are we going to meet at my room? So that you're not running around in the dark, potentially in smoke, trying to find everyone is the worst possible thing. And as you mentioned, knowing what exit routes there are and having more than one of those so that if roads are closed, you've got an alternative and so you know where you're going and you've agreed on that. And then just having some essentials in your car like woolen blanket to throw over if you did get caught in the worst possible situation in a burnover, having a first aid kit and having obviously a car radio if the internet goes down, but even a battery-powered radio that you can have with you at a campsite.
Yeah, all good advice.
Alison May there from the CFS, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Hey, I just heard from Joe Sakash's people who are keen listeners to our program, people talking before saying, why don't they just sell the cars that have been taken off Hoons? Well, apparently we do sell quite a lot of them. Apparently, SAPOL sell off several hundred forfeited cars each year, and the money does get reinvested into road activity. I wonder how they decide which cars get crushed and which cars get sold then. Who knows? But at least some of them are being sold, which is what people were suggesting should happen.
I'm putting my call out again for someone who works in a car crushing yard. If that's you, please give us a ring. I just want to know what your day looks like.
Isn't it?
It's a niche career. 8223 0000. Bit of weather updates for us on the Duttons text line. Dennis from Paringa. On my way to work, listening to all the storm and the rain talk. Meanwhile, I've been watering all weekend. Not a drop of rain. It's supposed to be 41 here at Paringa today. Well, in exciting news, the sun is streaming in through the windows now.
It's almost sunglasses.
It's actually now reflecting off all of the computer screens, so we're going to have to put the blind downs. But on the Foodland Supermarkets live stream, you can see the eye in the sky, the official camera, not the iPhone on a stick.
Oh no, this is the real one.
This is the real one. Yes, there's a few raindrops on the camera screen, but you can actually see it. It's turned into be a lovely morning. But for those who are trying to dodge the puddles and any trees down, just watch out on the road. Coming up after 8 o'clock, we have Breaking at 8, and the Movie Bowl returns for another week. Last year we had festive Christmas movies. I don't know what I don't have any idea what this week's category is. We left December kind of open.
I knew a couple of weeks ago because you
went to one meeting.
I stuck the envelope in myself.
It was nice of you to join us for that one meeting.
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed that meeting. I might come to another one next year.
I'll book in another 3-hour one, and we'll go from there. Do some more planning. Just a reminder as well, all week, if you're calling into the show and you managed to jump on air with David and myself, every call on air goes in the running to win a 2-night stay at Mount Lofty House. You can celebrate this summer at Mount Lofty House and Estate with the summer package now available, which is including $400 of bonus inclusions. There's never been a better time to book, so we'll announce a winner on Friday. Just for getting on air, you're in the running this week. A 2-night stay, including breakfast, dinner and a spa massage voucher at Mount Lofty House. So we'd love to chat to you about anything that's on your mind. 8223 0000. Coming up next, though, is the 8 o'clock news.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dog, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Remember those great Christmas holidays in the past? Summer by the seaside, traditional home-style family meals and plenty of chatter and laughs with your friends. Relive your Christmas memories with Holiday Wonders on a special 5-day holiday beginning December 23rd. Includes accommodation, great meals and a Christmas lunch feast. Enjoy Robe, Port Macdonald, Beachport and Kingston and a day in Hamilton. Our special offer may cost you less than staying home this year. Bookings close soon. Go to holidaywonders.com.au.
How easily could you save hundreds off your energy bills? That easy. Switch out your gas or electric hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Then sit back and save up to 70% on your water heating costs. And get it supplied and installed for as little as $0, thanks to government-facilitated subsidies. Yep, new hot water system from $0 that saves you hundreds. Pump your energy bills down with ecovantage.com.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Windy with showers and storms, a high of 29. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
Almost 15,000 properties are without power as strong winds and rain cause more havoc. The SES has had more than 500 calls for help over the weekend, and Adelaide shivered through the coldest December day for 50 years with just 15 degrees. Flights at Adelaide Airport have also been disrupted by thunderstorms and lightning this morning. John Fisher from the Bureau explains when the wild weather may start to ease.
But there is still the chance of 1 or 2 round as we move through the afternoon, so just keep an eye on that radar. And also those really gusty easterly winds that we've had the severe weather warning out, current 4, look, that's also an easing trend.
While residents in far north Queensland are being told to prepare as Tropical Cyclone Jasper sweeps across the Coral Sea. The Bureau has issued a cyclone watch for areas between Cape Melville and Townsville for damaging winds and rainfall. Meteorologist Jonathan Howe says the cyclone's expected to make landfall in the coming days.
Tropical Cyclone Jasper is expected to continue moving towards the west in coming days, but it may re-intensify back into severe Category 3 system before making landfall on Wednesday.
Police are investigating a fatal crash at Second Valley last night. A Toyota Hilux lost control and rolled on Main South Road, killing one of the passengers, a 16-year-old Blackwood boy. The driver, a 17-year-old, and 3 other passengers were taken to Flinders with non-life-threatening injuries. The boy's death is the 106th life lost on our roads, compared to 66 a year ago. International students will face greater scrutiny when applying for visas under major reforms to Australia's migration system. Here's Zach De Silva.
The nation's migrant intake will be curbed dramatically in some areas and boosted in others as the Albanese government tries to make the system more efficient. Overall, around 200,000 fewer foreigners will be allowed in over the next 5 years compared with previous forecasts. International students will need to meet higher English language standards and explain in more detail why they want to come here after allegations of widespread rorting. But it's a different story for highly skilled migrants. Their applications will be fast-tracked with a new visa category to fill specialised jobs Australians can't do.
State and federal education ministers are facing calls to increase funding for public schools ahead of their meeting in Sydney today. The AEU wants the Commonwealth to lift its contribution to the schooling resource standard from 20 to 25%. President Karina Haythorpe says full funding of the benchmark must be achieved by 2028 at the latest.
Our schools are significantly underfunded. Right now, only 1.3% of public schools are actually at the benchmark that governments have set themselves, and that's causing chronic workforce shortages and escalating workloads. So this crucial funding will deliver more teachers and more intensive support for our students.
Popular antibiotics and antidepressants could be in short supply over Christmas. The TGA says there are 446 medicines affected by shortages and discontinuations around the country. Over 40 critical medicines won't be available until early 2024 at the earliest. Paleontologists have unearthed the skull of a giant sea monster off the coast of England. Edward Godfrey has more.
It's been called the ultimate ocean predator. Scientists have found the enormous fossilised skull of a pliosaur, which was a 12-metre-long killing machine with huge paddle-like limbs that ate anything in its path when it ruled the oceans about 150 million years ago. Each of its 130 teeth are grooved, making it easier to pierce the flesh of its prey, and the power of its bite is astonishing, more than double that of a saltwater crocodile. How it was discovered is just as amazing. The tip of its snout was spotted by chance during a walk along Dorset's Jurassic coast in England's south. The rest was excavated from the cliffs above. And there are plans to try and find the rest of the skeleton thought to be hidden in those same cliffs.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Connor Rosie is set to re-sign with Port Adelaide on one of the longest contracts in the AFL until the end of 2032. The 23-year-old has already played 107 games and is a dual All-Australian and could be the club's next captain. Well, for the first time in BBL history, a game has been called off due to an unsafe pitch. The match between the Melbourne Renegades and Perth Scorchers was abandoned in the 7th over at Geelong's GMHBA Stadium after water had caused conditions to be deemed unsafe for the players. Meantime, Australia's cricketers will continue preparations in Perth today ahead of Thursday's first test against Pakistan. All-rounder and local Mitch Marsh set to bat at number 6. Well, Adelaide United has slipped to 6th on the A-League table following a disappointing 2-0 loss at home to the Brisbane Roar. Meantime, Tottenham has ended a 5-game winless run in the English Premier League, beating Newcastle 4-1 at home. The victory easing a bit of pressure on Australian manager Ange Postecoglou, who says his side played with much more conviction.
Yeah, I thought we were a lot more sort of bright in that front third and a lot more aware of the opportunities that were before us. Probably could have had a lot more goals, but I thought our front third play was as good as it's been for a while.
In other games overnight, Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Luton 2-1. Everton beat Chelsea 2-0, while Fulham is in the top half of the table following a 5-0 rout of West Ham. In the NBL, Melbourne United has beaten the Brisbane Bullets 103-68. The Sydney Kings went down to the South East Melbourne Phoenix 104-94. The 36ers are now sitting on the bottom of the ladder. And Eddie Jones has reportedly been chosen as Japan's next head coach. It's expected to be formally announced in the coming days, despite him denying he was in discussions nearly 20 times. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Passing showers and storms, so wet roads for the drive in today, and a smash at Aldgate on the freeway inbound near the Bridgewater ramp. Glenside, a smash there, Fullerton Road at Greenhill Road. Flooding over the road of Virginia, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road, and a breakdown on the north-south motorway at Dry Creek. It's near the Wingfield interchange. You'll find cameras this morning, Belusa, Edingle Farm and Whites Road at Paralawi. Moonpig makes Christmas gifting easy. It's your one-stop online shop to send unique personalised cards to all your loved ones this Christmas. Visit moonpig.com today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, windy, showers and storms, a high of 29, a shower or two tomorrow, 26, a possible shower Wednesday, 27, and showers on Thursday down to 23. At the moment, 20. More news as it happens on 5AA.
We were singing bye, bye. 5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
That I die. This'll be the day that I die.
8:08, just thought I'd let Don McLean play out a little bit there. Hope everyone's Monday has started off well with our upbeat tunes. It's not a very upbeat day, but it is a Monday, so we're here to get you on board for the start of the week.
Does anyone know what this song's about? What is American
Pie?
Pie about? I've got no idea what that song's about. If anyone knows, we'll give you a breakfast mug.
19.7 degrees currently in Adelaide CBD, going for a top of 29. The bomb is still saying possible storm and a shower or two. We've definitely had that already this morning since, I think when I walked out of my door, the storm's literally kick-started, and I just love driving in a thunderstorm. That was at about 4:30 this morning. Gave myself a little sleep in, but
4:30 is a sleep in.
11.6 mils of rain since 9 a.m. yesterday. Just on the traffic and weather this morning, Peter in Netley's called in. Morning, Peter.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thanks, Peter.
You.
There's a tree down on Anzac Highway opposite the Watermark Hotel.
Right, down there in Glenelg. Are there emergency services there yet, Peter?
Yes, they are. They're about to start cutting it up.
Good advice, mate. Everyone keep your wits about you if you're down there. Thanks for the call, Peter. There's one down, I can see it out of the window here on the corner of Pirrie and Pulteney on the corner there. It's not impeding traffic. It's on the footpath, but it's quite big. So keep your wits about you, folks. It's still quite windy out there, quite blustery, so there'll be a lot of branches around to watch out for.
Peter, just for calling in with that traffic update, we're going to give you a $50 Jalista voucher. Jalista Gelato, pure indulgence in a jar. Visit jalista.com.au or look at their social media. But it is now, though, time for Breaking at 8.
About to get some scrutiny again. You'll remember that earlier in the year, it emerged that they had secretly decided to spend $40,000 advocating a yes vote at the Voice referendum. The plan was only reversed after a public outcry. Well, in the latest example of what I guess you could fairly call wokeness on the part of this council, they've now passed a motion to ban all fossil fuel advertising on all council property throughout the Mitcham Council area. This obviously fits with their view that we're in the midst of a climate emergency, and a lot of their councillors have been quite upfront that they are of the opinion that more needs to be done to act on climate change and to ostracise those who peddle petrol and gas. Part of the problem with this, though, is they haven't really thought this one through, because at the same time, the council was one of several that got involved in the bidding process to host the Santos Tour Down Under, and they succeeded in that end. In January, the Santos Tour Down Under will be cycling up Windy Point, cycling through Belair, and being the Santos sponsored Tour Down Under, the entire thing will be covered in Santos signage. So how the council's ban on fossil fuel advertising at the same time that they're hosting the Santos TDU is going to proceed is going to be anybody's guess, and it could mean that there's a few frantic councillors running around with gaffer tape trying to cover up the Santos signs at Windy Point in a few weeks' time.
The old bike race, huh?
The gift that keeps on giving, the Mitcham Council.
That the TDU, I find, always comes upon us very quickly, because it means that the end of the year is gone and January is already steamrolling through as a month.
Yeah, I must admit, like when I see those bikes going past at Aldinga, it sort of makes you think, well, that's right, I've got to start working again. As opposed to the Melbourne Cup, where you go, oh, you beauty, that means I can just avoid work for the next 4 weeks.
The opposite effect. Hey, Madeline in Glenside's called in about American Pie. Good morning, Madeline.
Oh, good morning. I can't believe an old lady like me that knows that the American Pie was the name of the plane that those famous singers, I'm not, because I'm elderly.
Buddy Holly.
Their name. Yeah, Buddy Holly.
The Big Bopper.
Yes.
Richie Valens.
Right. Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
And I'm sure that that's right. But
Yeah,
up till
right.
now, because you don't know, and I expect you to, I'm second-guessing myself, but I'm quite sure that is what it was.
Madeline, I think, and you're obviously going to get the 5AA Breakfast Cup, but quite a few people have texted in as well saying, including Cam, saying that he's pretty sure that American Pie is about the plane crash that Buddy Holly died in. So you're well and truly on the money, I think.
Oh, excellent. That's good. Thank you.
Good on you,
Lovely
Madeline.
to hear you.
Lovely to hear from you
thank
too.
You for all the, yes, and thank you, all of you at 5AA, for the joy that you give us.
No, not at all.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Can't do it without the listeners like you, Madeline.
Right.
Thank you for contributing. We'll send you out a breakfast mug, Madeline. Now, of course, a topic this morning, a few power outages around Adelaide. It was in the realm of 13,000 customers, I believe. Looks like it has jumped up to over 20,000 customers now. To tell us more is Paul Roberts from SA Power Networks. Morning to you, Paul.
Hi, Lucy. You and Dave should have me on permanently, just, every Monday morning, I think.
That's right.
We do have your number on speed dial, Paul, just because we figure that we will need you just for anything. You can come on about anything you like. Paul Roberts' Corner of Chit Chat.
I'd love to do that. I'll talk a bit more about American Pie.
Yeah.
You're free to, mate.
Whatever you like.
And your last caller was correct as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been a crazy few days, though.
Yeah, it has. Obviously, it wasn't too bad on Saturday, but we were expecting some pretty bad conditions last night, which we got in the Adelaide Hills. And I was up at actually top of Cross Road. It was blowing a gale, but I came down to the city after that, and it was quiet as a lamb. But this morning in the city, it's been lightning, some really, really strong wind gusts. So we've gone from about 6,000 customers without power at 7 o'clock to nearly 20,000 as people have woken up and reported outages, and they're stretching right through again from the mid-north. There's some big outages up there through to the metropolitan area, running a line through the metropolitan area down as far as Goolwa. So quite widespread, and that sort of storm cell seems to be travelling directly south and has sort of hit through the metro area down to kind of Goolwa and through, and it's going to be affecting Kangaroo Island, I would suspect, as well.
Are restoration times, Paul, going to be a bit slower today, just given the weather, or now that it's sort of fined up slightly, it might not be too bad?
Well, it's going to depend whether we get more outages, but we have got crews in some of those larger outages, which will bring some of those numbers down fairly quickly. But they're pretty extensive through the metro area. We did hold back crews for last night's event into this morning, so we'll be swinging additional crews in to tackle these. But we'll update our customers there on SMS from us, so we will update them with, as the crews get to site, we'll be able to give them a very accurate estimated restoration time, and they'll work to achieve that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Paul. Before you go, any more fun music facts you'd like to share with us?
Oh, probably lots. I'm a singer-songwriter myself, so...
well, there you go.
So, yeah, American Pie, I was looking at that a while ago. What a great song. But I was thinking, great song lines, and I think one of the great ones is Sounds of Silence by Saul Simon, and the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls.
There you go.
Paul Roberts, music chat.
Renaissance man. Everyone needs a passion outside of work, Paul, and I always like hearing about people's passions. That was a side of you we rarely hear, as we're boring it up you for the fact that the power's not on.
You'll have to get me in one day, and I'll sing my song about the Stobie pole.
Yes,
we'll do that. Let's do that in the
summer
new year.
programming. We will lock that in, Paul.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
The Stobie pole.
All right.
Thank you, Paul Roberts there from SA Power Networks.
When I was working in Sydney, I could not stop saying things like Stobie pole, and people just like, what are you talking about, Stobie pole? Well, it's a car's at a Stobie pole.
It's something as a South Australian you never think about until you go interstate.
Although there actually are no Stobie poles in New South Wales. It's a unique South Australian invention, the railway sleepers with the concrete slab in the middle. They're actually deeply unpleasant things, Stobie poles.
Is the Stobie part a name? Is it named after
the bloke who invented
Mr.
it?
Stobie?
Was it William Stobie? I think it was William Stobie, I'm guessing. Feels like it was William.
Stobie pole. They're called a power pole in Victoria.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about.
I'm going to Victoria in January. I'll
Who
be able to
invented
educate them all. James Cyril Stobie.
James Cyril Stobie.
There we go.
JC.
1895 to 1953. He was alive. In July 1924, James Stobie submitted the patent application for his pole design in both English and French. It was then accepted in November 1925. So the old Stobie pole.
How do you say Stobie pole in French?
A Stobie pole.
That's right. Pole de Stobie.
Is 98 years old. November 2025, we can celebrate 100 years of the Stobie
Wow,
pole.
what about that?
Mark it in your calendars,
Put
folks.
that one in the diary.
Another thing to be aware of this morning, not only who invented the Stobie pole, but our fuel at the moment. It is cheap. Driving around Adelaide is the cheapest it's been for a long time. So let's get into our breakfast fuel watch as we do every day. Find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free REA app from your app store today. The X-Convenience, that particular chain of servo is having the cheapest ones at the moment. So the X-Convenience on OG Road in Clemzig, $1.59. Same as the one on Port Road in Highmarsh, $1.59. Marion Road in Netley, $1.61. And the United Servo on Grand Junction Road, Ottawa, is $1.63. If you're after some diesel, also looking cheap at the moment. Well, cheap comparatively for this time of year. The X-Convenience on Henley Beach Road in Brooklyn Park is $1.79. So I would fill up before public school holidays end of this week, I reckon. So before the Christmas jump, please fill up where it's $1.59 for unleaded around a lot of Adelaide. Coming up, it is the movie bowl. We don't know what it's going to be today. December's been left open.
Sam's in charge.
Birthday man himself, Sam Daddo, with the movie bowl selection. Before we get to that, let's check your traffic.
Thanks, Lucy. Clearing up after passing storms, but still wet roads this morning and a smash at Aldgate to look out for. It's on the freeway inbound near the Bridgewater ramp. Another one at Glenside, Fullerton Road near Greenhill Road, flooding over a road of Virginia, Anglevar Road near Bevan Road, and a breakdown at Dry Creek on the north-south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. Cameras, Balloosta Red Ingle Farm and Smart Road at Modbury. Discover more at Local Cellars, SA's newest locally owned Local Cellars Banquet Food and Wine, 992 Port Road, Albert Park. Now open. Drink responsibly. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
I'll never forget coming into the rooms and sitting down, and we knew we were going to get a spray.
Who was the coach?
John Carr.
John.
So he's coming around the room and he's coming to me. And then he said, and that's for you, Timmy. And I'm staring at him like this. And he goes, I told you how many times to get on Naily. And now I'm getting really angry. And then he turns, who was on the bench? He doesn't believe me.
Rowie and Timmy G.
He sunk you.
Threw me right under the bus.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Get great value Christmas dishes for every budget at Coles. Like Coles RSPCA approved whole chicken was $5.50, now down to just $4.50 a kilo. That's great value hands down at Coles.
Organising a memorial for a treasured family member can seem a lot, but not if you speak with Tim from Adelaide Memorials. For over 40 years, Adelaide Memorials have kept the memory and spirit alive for thousands of South Australian families with beautifully designed headstones and plaques.
Tim will sit with you to show you all the wonderful ways to memorialise the life of your loved one. There is no set and forget or rush, just empathy and genuine attention to detail.
And Tim also has a background in architecture, and the headstones and plaques he designs are often customised to reflect an individual's life, whether it be to include the lyrics to a favourite song or a headstone carved into the shape of a guitar.
And currently there's room on their team for an experienced craftsperson with a trade background. So if you're interested in joining this small, passionate team, get in touch with Tim. Adelaide Memorials for extra personal service. Visit adelaidememorials.com.au.
Now, who's next? A young man. Pop up here on Santa's knee and tell me what you'd like for Christmas. Oh, up we go.
Well, I really like a bike. A red one.
Oh, how wonderful.
But my dad said I have to ask for a new driveway. from Adelaide Exposed Concrete.
Oh, did he now?
Good boy! Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground all year round.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
5AA Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
8:22 on this Monday morning.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Sam Daddo is in the studio. It is Sam's birthday, of course. Happy birthday to you, Sam. I was trying to work out how to fade this down. My panelling skills are just right up there. Of course, it is the Monday morning movie bowl. And as a birthday treat, and because now you are running the show this week, you are doing our movie choices today. Movie Bowl, all thanks to Wallace. Movies are better at Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au.
How old are you today, Sam?
28 years young.
You're 28. And how old were you yesterday, Liz?
29.
29. So, you guys are... Hang on, 29 plus 28.
Remember, we shouldn't do maths on air, David.
It's 57, isn't it?
And this is a movie segment.
Your combined age is only 3 years older than me.
Next year...
Makes me feel really old working with you two.
We try not to remind people of that, but yeah. Anyway, I love, Luce, how you set up the movies here as if you had a choice in that it was mine. I've just hijacked the segment. It's my birthday. I'm not a big birthday guy.
Films that Sam Daddo loves.
That's basically the segment.
The Peter Brock story?
No, I wouldn't put Lucy through that. I wanted to put Lucy through Star Wars, but I know for a fact she wouldn't do that because she's not a team player when it comes to Star Wars. So we're not going to do that.
You love your Star Wars, don't you?
I do. Me and Will. I haven't got my
Will
back
likes
up
it
here.
too.
Anyway, so the first film, we're going back to 1985. It's going to be Back to the Future. One of my all-time favourite films. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Michael Smith, one of his favourite films as well.
Yeah, you've been talking a lot about Back to the Future all year, so fair enough.
I can quote Back to the Future, so if you want to watch it together, you're going to punch me by about the 3-minute mark.
Got it.
However, I'm taking it up against a film back in 2006. I'm not sure how the boss is going to go with this one. Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, starring Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. 8223 get your votes in. Lucy probably has no idea about the second one.
No, Back to the Future against Talladega Nights.
Yep. We
got
a bit of audio there, Lucy. So if you want to hit movie one, refresh everyone's minds about Back to the Future.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style? Besides, the stainless steel construction made the flux dispersal. Look out!
And
Sounds
for those who aren't familiar with Talladega Nights, here's a bit of that.
It's all right, you're not on fire! I knew it, you're lying! I'm burned! There is no fire!
Come back here! But something looks wrong. I mean, he's running around like he's on fire.
Oh my God, help me! I don't want to die! Oh, stop and roll!
You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby!
I'm on fire!
You're not on fire! But I'm not even sure he even knows where he's at right now.
This makes us all realize the kind of pressure these drivers are under.
Mr. Bobby, come on down here!
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah! Ah! Help me, Tom Cruise!
All right, let's get to the votes. 8223 Back to the Future or Talladega Nights. Sam in Theberton, good morning. What's your vote?
Good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Dave. I reckon it's Back to the Future.
Okay.
Back to the Future. Excellent. Thank
I'll be
you.
the counter.
Sue in South Plimpton, good morning.
Good morning. Back to the Future.
Thank you, Sue. Mark in Summertown, good morning.
Oh, look, it's Talladega Nights. There is a scene in this, Grace scene at the table.
Yep.
It was a parallel that is such a parody of where religion, and I go to church every Sunday, but it draws such a parallel of parody on what some... Well, I'll get in trouble here, but yeah, some churches go anyway. It's a brilliant take.
Excellent.
I'm all
Thank you,
jacked
Mark.
up on Mountain Dew.
I love to think about baby Jesus in a little manger.
Tyson in Clarence Gardens, good morning.
Front row of a Linux.
Time to shake and bake, Lucy. Shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
What does that mean? Which film is that?
You'll know. You'll find out.
You'll know. Well, all right, Talladega Nights. Thank
That wasn't
you.
the Transport Minister, was it? Because I just got a text from Tom Coots and Tonus that simply said shake and bake.
Yes, thank you, Transport Minister.
All right, Minister Coots.
We're not counting it as a vote, though.
No, he's a big contributor.
It belongs to the people. This belongs to the people.
Dave in Alberton, morning, Dave.
You'll be quoting shake and bake, baby, all week, Luce. It is Talladega Nights without doubt.
I love that everyone's quoted Shake and Bake, but not revealed the name of the movie at all yet.
Well, we know.
Oh, no,
Don't worry.
Talladega Nights.
We know.
Liz.
All right, got it.
Yep.
Daryl in Virginia, good morning.
Hey guys, as much as it's worth seeing it just for the film clip about boats and individuals at the end, I reckon you got to see Back to the Future. It's an absolute classic.
Oh,
Back to the
ding-dong
Future.
tussle.
Thank
It's
you,
3-3.
Daryl. It is 3-3.
And I think that means that Stacey from Richmond is going to have the casting vote.
Stacey, good morning to you. This is very, very important. Your vote will decide what movie I'm watching today. What are you going for?
I'm saying Back to the Future.
Back
Good
to
on
the
you,
Future.
Stacey.
Thank you, Stacey.
We have a winner.
Decider.
We have a winner. Back to the Future by a margin, by the narrowest of margins, Luce.
But if we counted Tom Coots and Tonus's vote, it would have been even.
Well,
he knows the rules. He should have called in.
Yeah,
Minister, we
sorry,
could have given you an
Coots,
anonymous
doesn't count.
name.
No, that's right.
All right, Back to the Future. I'll finally understand all of the quotes that Sam has been saying literally all year. Looking forward to it.
I think that is a good result. I think you will enjoy Back to the Future.
You would have
maybe I'm
hated
wrong. Well, the
Talladega
whole
Nights.
world's spinning on its axis. Last week
True.
you came in here and gave Bad Santa 4 stars, so what do I know?
Back to the Future. Here we go. Thank you very much, Sam. It's all right. I faded you down now. Coming up after 8:30, we are talking cherries. If you're looking for some cherry produce in the final 2 weeks before Christmas, listen up. And also Rosanna Mangiarelli wrapping Will's performance at the Carols last night. But first of all, it is the 8:30 news.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from 2.2. The festive season is a great time of year to relax, but it's also a great time to sell your home. Buyers aren't spending their break eating Christmas pudding. With a real shortage of stock, they're trying to secure their next property. Adelaide home values remain at an all-time high, growing by more than 7% over the past year. That means there's a great opportunity to achieve a premium result for your property. If you'd like to know how much your home might be worth in today's market, visit toop.com.au.
At IGA, you'll get everything you need this Christmas. CC's corn chips or cornados, 110 to 175 grams selected varieties, $2.35 each, half price. IGA, where Christmas is made special for locals. Offer ends December 12, participating IGA stores only.
What's on your bucket list? Skydiving? Swimming with dolphins? Hot air ballooning? Before you plan a bucket list, plan your will with Donlan Lawyers. A will, power of attorney and advanced care directive speak for you when you can't. It means you and your loved ones will be taken care of. Visit donlanlawyers.com. Put it on your bucket list. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Windy with showers and storms, a high of 29 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
The SES is continuing to help South Australians after a weekend of wild weather. More than 500 calls for help were received over the weekend. The Bureau's John Fisher says the strong winds and rain should start to ease soon.
Still some wild weather happening at the moment, but generally on an easing trend. And over the next couple of days, looking like some showers on and off, maybe a chance of a storm, but less rainfall and temperatures in the mid-20s.
There's more than 23,000 people without power this morning. The biggest outage is affecting 2,700 around Orroroo and Melrose, north of Adelaide. Tropical cyclone Jasper has been downgraded to a Category 1. However, residents in far north Queensland are being warned it will re-intensify to a Category 2 as it crosses the coast later this week. As a result, a cyclone watch is in place from Cape Melville to Townsville. Another young life has been lost on our roads. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says a Toyota Hilux lost control and rolled on Main South Road at Second Valley last night. killing a 16-year-old boy.
The driver's a 17-year-old Dover Gardens boy. There were 3 other young passengers in the car as well, a 16-year-old boy and 2 15-year-old girls. They've all been taken to the Flinders Medical Centre for treatment, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening.
The boy's death is the 106th life lost on our roads so far this year, compared to 66 a year ago. The opposition says the horses bolted as the federal government plans to rein in Australia's migration rate. Labor will announce plans to reduce the overall migrant intake over the next few years. The visa system will also be overhauled in a bid to bring in more highly specialised workers. Shadow Immigration Minister Dan Tehan says it should never have been allowed to get out of control.
Let's see whether they'll be upfront with the Australian people and say we let 900,000 people in our first 2 years. And as you've said, that's driven up housing prices, it's driven up rental prices, it means it's hard to get to the GP, we've got congestion issues again.
Free education degrees and tax cuts for teachers will be among the ideas raised to address teacher shortages when education ministers meet today. State and federal ministers will sit down in Sydney to determine how to spend $72 billion in school funding next year. AEU President Karina Haythorpe says they must make an increase to public school funding.
We need this funding urgently. We know that we've got bilateral agreements which will take place over the next few years, and so we've set a deadline of 2028 to achieve this funding for all schools across the nation.
JB Hi-Fi is facing legal action over extended warranties it sells with products. The class action lawsuit accuses the retailer of selling warranties which are worthless or of little value since 2011. Maurice Blackburn has lodged the case in the Victorian Supreme Court seeking compensation for customers who've signed up to the plans. And Australia's largest taxi company has revealed its lost property list. And the haul's extensive. It includes $8,000 in cash, a drag queen outfit and a backpack full of medical supplies, just some of the belongings Australians have left behind in cabs this year. Chief Operating Officer at 1300 Cabs, Olivia Barry, says small everyday items are most often left behind.
Phones, wallets, headphones, lots of reading glasses, luggage, keys and laptops, things like that. They're the most common lost items.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
There's plenty of stock ready for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Connor Rosie is set to re-sign with Port Adelaide on one of the longest contracts in the AFL. AFL Media is reporting the 23-year-old midfielder will commit to the Power until the end of 2032. Well, the Australian women's cricket team is about to embark on a tour of India with a new captain. Alyssa Healy has officially been named as Meg Lanning's successor. All-rounder Talia McGrath is vice-captain. Healy says the tour could help shape the future of the team.
It feels like we're a little bit new. We're a new side. We've got talent coming through. We've got older players that are sort of coming in and out, and it was sort of an opportunity to reset, refresh, and I think personally going to India as a group over Christmas time is the best thing that's going to happen to our group. I think we're going to get to know one another really well.
Adelaide United has work to do following a disappointing 2-0 loss at home to the Brisbane Roar. The Reds next face the Western Sydney Wanderers away on Friday night. Plenty of EPL action meantime as well, with Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham recording an important 4-1 win at home against Newcastle. They're in 5th spot, 3 points behind Manchester City, who are 4th after recording a hard-fought come-from-behind 2-1 victory against Luton.
You've got a man over at the far post, which is Jack Grealish, and it is 2-1. They've turned it around in the space of 2.5 minutes.
Audio there thanks to Optus. Elsewhere, Everton is moving further away from the relegation zone after a 2-0 win against Chelsea at home, while Fulham smashed West Ham 5-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now on to the traffic.
Debris and wet roads following those big storms this morning, and look out for a couple of crashes too. You'll find one at Aldgate on the freeway inbound near the Bridgewater Ram. Another one at Glenside, Fullerton Road at Greenhill Road. Flooding over the road of Virginia at the moment, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road. And lights on the blink at Kingswood. That's Cross Road at Doothie Street. Cameras this morning at Gorge Road, Athelston and Main North Road at Salisbury East. More sweets for less at Big W. Kids love a stocking on Christmas Day. The Cadbury 183-gram Christmas stocking is only $5. Save $1.50. Get more for less at Big W. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, windy with showers and storms, a high of 29, a shower or two tomorrow, 26, a possible shower Wednesday, 27, and showers on Thursday, 23. At the moment, 20. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Australia's largest indoor caravan showroom now has even more to explore. Come into Dave Benson Caravans to see the new range of Victory caravans, plus a huge selection of Essential, Highline, Network RV and Cub campers with new features and layouts. We have over 100 new and pre-loved vans and campers, all undercover and all ready for immediate delivery, so you can enjoy your next getaway straight away. See what's available at Dave Benson Caravans, 64 Grand Junction Road, Kilburn, or online at davebensoncaravans.com.au.
Now, it's been a long time coming, but finally summer's on the way. Not that you'd know it, looking outside today. This is quite a funny and timely live read, Luce, because my Walco pool blankie is currently in the pool. Not on top of the pool.
No, it's sinking.
The wind blew it in overnight. Kate just sent me a photograph, so when I get home, I will be reassembling it. Now is definitely the time to wake your pool from its winter slumber and keep it looking the biz with a Walco pool blanket.
A Walco pool blanket will not only help keep your pool clean and warm, but it will also help stop evaporation. And let's face it, we live in the driest state, not this weekend, but usually, so a Walco pool blanket is a must if you want to save money on water.
I tell you what, it makes such a huge difference with all this wind around. It does a great job keeping the canopy of my gum tree out of the old pool. And look, it's easy to put your pool to bed each night with a Walco pool blanket, especially if you have the Walco pool blanket roller. Just make sure it doesn't get blown away in a storm. The bit we really love here at 5AA is that Walco is the only pool blanket manufacturer in Adelaide. Nothing is imported. Get your pool a Walco blanket for summer. Now go to their website, walco.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Pimberthy and Lucy Loken.
8:39 on this Monday morning. Will Goodings, of course, off for the next couple of weeks on his Christmas holidays. But good news, his dad, Graham Goodings, will be in the chairs after 9 o'clock because, of course, Matthew Pantelis also on holidays. They will both be back in the middle of January. It's David and myself for the next week, talking
Certainly
all things in the lead up to Christmas. It is 2 weeks today till Christmas Day, and I can proudly say I have not even given any thought to Christmas shopping.
Seriously?
No.
I thought you'd be organised, Liz.
No, I have a staunch rule, being my birthday yesterday, that everyone else gets to celebrate birthdays, so I like to do that first, then I focus on Christmas.
Yeah, fair enough.
Might be selfish of me, but here we are.
Absolutely.
Of course, one thing that South Aussies just love around Christmas time are Christmas produce, David, and that being cherries, of course. The last few days of stormy weather have put our cherry supplies a bit up in the air at the moment as to how many we'll be able to get ahead of Christmas time. Joining us now, though, is Tony Hannaford from Torrens Valley Orchards. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, guys.
These conditions, Tony, like I was talking to my local fruit and veg guy, Manny, last week, and he texted me while we were doing the show saying, oh, those poor cherry farmers. Has it been as bad as you feared it might be?
Well, I mean, cherry growing is always open to the elements, so there's always some level of damage, whether it's too hot, too wet, the birds or something. There's always something going on there. But in this particular time, being so close to Christmas and cherries being very important at that time, it has been very sensitive to us, that's for sure.
What kind of damage in particular means that you can't sell certain cherries? Is it just because the fruit splits or they become rotted?
No, it is that they split first and then they go rotten in the box. They've got no shelf life. So unlike modest produce with a mark or a scratch, you can still eat it. The cherries, once they split, of course, then they become very unattractive and break down very quickly. And that's what rain does. So not just the amount of rain, but the length of wet period that they're wet for that makes them, they sit on the skin and it's absorbed and then the cherries split.
So it's simply from just getting moisture on them, Tony, and the skin can't sort of set.
It goes through the skin, so the water comes up through the roots, but also through the fruit itself, and it's just too much. They swell and they split. I think that's the basic part of it.
Tony, what do you do with the cherries that you can't sell? Are they just left on the ground as compost, or do you I don't know, turn them back into mulch, or what happens with those you can't sell?
Yeah, basically they returned into the orchard. But we will look at value adding a range of different products we can do. But at this stage, we're just focused on the fresh produce and getting as much into the market as we can, because that's where our money is, really.
Do you think it's going to affect prices, mate? I mean, scarcity normally means you will end up paying more for the ones that have managed to avoid being rain damaged.
Well, we don't know, because we don't set prices. The market sets the price. But the damage is not... Obviously, we had a big rain event in South Australia, mainly over on the peninsulas, not so much in the Adelaide Hills. But it's also been raining right through Victoria and New South Wales. So I heard they had hail in New South Wales this morning, and it's showery weather in Victoria, and they've had multiple events. So it's right across mainland Australia.
Yeah,
and
right.
so one would think that would tighten supply a little bit. It probably has to, I guess.
Yeah.
Tony, I note in this article from the Tiser here that you've said that usually there's about 1,500 tonnes of cherries around this time to sell. Do you have any vague idea yet about what you might reach?
Well, everyone's asking that question because it was a substantial rain event and the trees were wet for a long period. There's no doubt about that. So we started picking this morning. It's not raining up here. Hasn't been wet all night, I don't think. So we've got about 200 pickers out in the orchard, and within about an hour or so, we should have some idea of the extent of damage that's out there.
Well, good luck, Tony.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I hope we can still get a bumper crop this year.
Well, we're always optimistic as farmers. You're always hoping it's going to get better and next year's going to be better. So we've got 10 days or so leading up to Christmas, and we'll certainly be doing our very best to get as much product onto the market in this critical period.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you,
luck,
Tony. Tony Hannaford
Cheers.
there.
Thanks for the call. See you.
Torrens Valley Orchards up in the hills. So if it's all clear to go and get some cherries, do so. Go straight
We had
to
some
them.
great cherries a couple of Fridays ago for our early family Christmas that I got from Manny there at Goodwood Fresh. They were superb, but they would have been the first season's pick, and obviously at a time when we'd had none of the storms that have affected the crop over the last couple of weeks.
Text here on the Duttons text line talking of the weather. Call into Duttons, Mount Barker or Murray Bridge, purchase a new or used vehicle, go in the draw to win $3,000. This one is about a tree down, massive tree down across the road at top of Dashwood Road and Glenburn Road intersection. Someone else has said, Paul, there are extremely strong winds in Eastwood, Glenside area, possible trees down. It's very gum tree-y in the new Glenside developments around the SA Film Corp there.
Oh, yeah.
So-
There's some massive old trees, beautiful trees in there. Ros Wright on the text line says, please do not drive up Cully Avenue, Blair. There is an enormous tree across the road that has hit a house. I had a proper look in Hindmarsh Square. It's not just that tree on the corner of Perry Street. There's another one further down towards Clarity Records that's split in half. And Kate just texted me before, apparently half of our gum trees come down and poor old Jim next door is laying in his yard. So could have a hot date with the chainsaw later today.
Just do it very carefully. Protective eyewear, or please call the SES if you need. Earlier in the show, we were talking about having cars crushed for those who do the wrong things on our roads. Carl from Gawler's called in on this. Morning, Carl.
Yeah, morning, guys. Look, just a comment. I'm involved with car clubs quite a lot myself, and a lot of the cars that are being crushed are actually high-performance cars. Now, obviously, they're the ones that are going faster on the roads and things like that, but the parts and the actual cost to build those cars is quite expensive to some of them. A lot of guys in the car community feel that it would still have the same impact for the owners and the drivers, but rather than crushing and destroying those cars with all those expensive parts in them, have them dismantled. There's plenty of community groups out there, people with slight disability perhaps, that would benefit from dismantling those cars into individual parts and then off-selling those parts.
Yeah.
Because they're hard to get. Some of those parts are really expensive to buy. Other people might be able to use them for the right reasons.
Yeah, totally.
And rather than just crushing them and turning them into scrap, have someone actually dismantle them. Still at the same impact. The car's going to get pulled apart, but at the same time, the parts aren't going to get destroyed.
That's a good idea, I reckon, Carl. And yeah, why should the law-abiding motorist miss out on a rare part they might need for their souped-up whatever it is? Hey, speaking of cars, did Breaking at 8 last week, Thursday or Friday, I think it was, about the Tonsley Hotel being for the high jump. It's going to be demolished, I think, in January. A new pop-up pub, the Tonsorama, is opening at the new Panorama Hotel site where the bottle shop opens today. But I popped in yesterday for a farewell pint with Peter Hurley, because as kids growing up, our family pubs were always the Marion Hotel and the Tonsley Hotel. There were hundreds of people there last night to farewell the Tonsley, including a couple of people I went to Marion High with, who had their first sneaky beverage there in the mid-'80s. But one group of people who were there were the local Chrysler club, the people who drive Chryslers. Obviously, Chrysler has a huge relationship with that pub from the factory there before it became Mitsubishi. And it's just a sort of bittersweet moment. You know, nice to see hundreds of people at a pub, but sad to think that it's going to be a big pile of rubble in only a few weeks' time. I mean, you think pubs are such a part of the community, you know, like my local Rotary Club always met. The St Mary's Rotary Club always met there. And as a kid, I remember getting a fruit cup for the first time. Did you ever drink a fruit cup, Luce?
It was my favourite.
You know, with the colours, the green, red and yellow.
Yeah.
And the maraschino cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm not big on maraschino cherries. I can't even say it. That's how much I don't like
them. No one can.
Or glacé cherries. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it is.
Glacé cherries, not big on.
But no,
real cherries,
the fruit
though.
cup was always the go at the Tonsley Hotel.
Very
but
good.
we're getting a new pub out of it. Just got to wait a couple of years.
Just wait till the infamous ongoing South Australian roadworks are complete.
Yes, that's right.
And there shall be a new pub. Speaking of the roads, let's get to your traffic for your drive in this morning.
Those nasty storms have left some debris and quite a lot of wet roads around the area, so take it easy on the drive in. And look out for a smash at Aldgate today on the freeway inbound to the Bridgewater Ramp. Another smash at Glenside, Fullerton Road to Green Hill Road, flooding over the road of Virginia, Anglevale Road near Bevan Road, and traffic lights on the blink at Kingswood, Cross Road at Duthie Street. Cameras this morning, Main North Road, Salisbury East and Maxwell Road at Paraka. Crashed that morning, craving click and collect on the OTR app to indulge in a range of delicious barista-made hot and iced coffees made just how you like it. OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, Graham Goodings in for Matthew at 9. On the show, the Labor government is finally moving to shut the door long after the migration horse is well and truly bolted. The number of migrants will be cut by 185,000. What impact will that have on South Australia? How would you like $90,000 a year to sit in an office and do virtually nothing? Well, that's the deal for more than 100 public servants, and you and I are paying for it. And we'll keep you up to date with our wild summer weather. All that and your calls from 9 o'clock.
Good pals are hard to find, but at Parafield Airport Liquor Store, hard to find is our specialty. Whether you're after old reliable pals or want some new pals, Sam, Jamie and the team know just the pals for you. They've made pals with over 200 gins, over 300 craft beers, over 500 whiskies from around the world, and over 2,000 wines. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals. Open till late 7 days. Next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Remember those great Christmas holidays in the past? Summer by the seaside, traditional homestyle family meals and plenty of chatter and laughs with your friends. Relive your Christmas memories with Holiday Wonders on a special 5-day holiday beginning December 23rd. Includes accommodation, great meals and a Christmas lunch feast. Enjoy Robe, Port Macdonald, Beachport and Kingston and a day in Hamilton. Our special offer may cost you less than staying home this year. Bookings close soon. Go to holidaywonders.com.au.
Now, Luce, here's a question without notice. Are you much of a gardener?
I strongly am not much of a gardener.
Well, what you should do, because the people at Stanford's, they're here to help. They don't just talk gardens. They want to see your photographs. It could be a photograph of anything. It could be a photograph of something you've tried to grow, or just a patch of bare earth where you're thinking about growing something. So get your camera going.
Well, I could send them a photo of a dead lavender that I tried to grow in a pot once.
I thought lavender was impossible to kill.
Yeah, well, that's my level of skill right there, David.
You've been talking to Will about gardening, have you?
That's it. So even though a picture is worth 1,000 words, they can have a picture of an empty white pot that it died in.
Yeah.
But nothing makes the Stanford's team day like a photo of your pride and joy, your garden.
That's right. They've got 100 years of combined experience in the team, and they want to see what you're up to in the backyard. They want to see your unusual garden, your work in progress, your new veggie patch, the time you dabbled in hedge sculpting. They're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to tips and tools to keep your garden pristine.
So please pop into Stanford's for tips or just to brag to someone who understands it. Go and see Ben and Archie and their experienced team at 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross, or check out stanfordmowers.com.au.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dock, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA's Summer Breakfast. David Penberthy and Lucy Loken.
Come on, mate. You're going to hit the high note of your favourite song?
No, I can't do it high. I wouldn't even try. And I was way out of tune then too.
That's right. We are chatting, of course, the Christmas carols very, very shortly. 2 weeks to the day till Christmas Day. And, of course, at 5AA, we live to give here. So first caller through, 8223 0055. You'll be getting a Frederick Street Finest hamper, perfect just in time for Christmas. Look for Frederick Street Finest in the fancy blue packet at your local Drake's supermarket, devoted to excellence, or be the first caller through on 8223 0055. Now, someone who's a Christmas carols pro and is somewhat of a mentor in this industry, and not only in media, but for hosting Christmas carols, that did go ahead on Saturday night there at Elder Park, is Rosanna Mangiarelli from 7 News. And we've asked Rosanna to come on because she was co-hosting with Will, and since Will's not here, we can say what we like about him. And we invited Rosanna to do so with us. Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
Oh, now, Rosanna, I'm going to say, I feel like I'd won the lottery last night because I was at home just sort of couch surfing and I came across 7 Mate, and I thought, my God, I've hit the mother lode here. It's the carols with Will and Rosanna. I had no idea that Will, not only was he singing along, he was actually dancing.
Do you know what? I had to really encourage him to get up and get into the spirit, and he did. And let's just say some serious dance moves for radio, I think.
But he actually looked like he was really almost, you know, a bit like, as Irene Cara says in Flashdance, sort of losing himself in the rhythm.
I think he was, wasn't he? Which was fantastic, given last year that when we had that finale, he raced straight to the back, and I said, mate, you're not doing that this year. So I'm glad I rubbed off a little bit.
If you had to give him a score out of 10, for 10 being just wow, Dancing with the Stars winner type, 0 being get off the stage, what would you give him?
I don't know. Is minus 15?
What about the crowd though, Rosanna? They were absolute troopers turning up at all, given how bad the weather was.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to take your hat off to them. Like, it was unbelievable how faithful some of those people are, and it was great to see. It wasn't actually as bad as I thought it would be because.
Oh,
I think we've lost Rosanna.
Ralph Brock.
Oh no, we've got you back. We've got you, Rosanna. Hey, as you're talking, we've actually got a still photograph of you and Will, and is that Amelia?
That is Amelia.
Amelia, yeah, off to stage right. But it actually looks in the photograph like Will has even burst into song.
There was a bit of singing going on as well. Yes. Yeah, he did all right. Like I say, he got into it. So that was good. But you talk about the crowd. I was just saying how, you know, unbelievably faithful these people are. Carol's Tragics, who just rocked up, which was fantastic to see, and I've got to take my hat off to them, given the conditions that we were dealt with for the second year in a row, and we're going to actually blame Will for that. Yeah. We're calling him the Weather Grinch, because we've always had, I've done carols for, next year will be 20 years since my first carols, and
20?
Never have we, 20, yes.
Probably like 7 when you started.
9, actually. That was the same gag. That was the same gag Will made as well on the night.
Oh, no, well, we've spent too much time working together.
Too true. But never have we had weather like we did on Saturday nor last year. So, yeah, we're blaming him a tiny bit. So hopefully next year he talks to the weather gods before it all starts. But no, he was hilarious and he got into the spirit. It was a very funny night.
Rosanna, when did the conversation start around do we cancel, do we not cancel? When was the decisive full steam ahead call made?
I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. We had our weather presenter, Casey Trelaw, come in and saying, whoa, Saturday's not looking good. There's going to be a major weather event Friday through to Sunday, and who knew, straight through to Monday as well, given what we've had this morning. So I emailed the production company and said, just heads up, this is happening. And at that point, it was 150 mils of rain, but we didn't know sort of where and this was intel from the Bureau that hadn't been released yet. And they're like, no, it should be okay. And then all of a sudden there were a flurry of cancellations, everything cancelled, from school events to sporting events to all other Christmas events. Everything was cancelled, and we thought surely carols will be cancelled as well. But you got to, again, applaud the persistence of the production company who did a bit more investigating in the days leading up to carols, knowing that there'd be a break in the weather. And, we had such an amazing array of talent. All these people come from interstate. We had Paul Kelly, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it was a good lineup.
It was a sensational lineup, and seriously, the talent that we had on Saturday night was just extraordinary. So what we did is we did a full dress rehearsal on the Friday night, and we were still, I still had a question mark in my head, as did most other people, but no, it still went ahead. And I tell you what, it actually wasn't too bad.
Well, it still worked as a TV viewer last night. It still worked as a spectacle. I mean, it was funny seeing some of the crowd shots, but when you're actually watching everybody on stage, you would have had no idea that the weather was any good. And how's this, just to round this out, Mark Groot, the CEO of St John Ambulance, has texted saying, I can attest that Will loves to sing carols, so thanks for your support, Rosanna, Will and Amelia, and for supporting St John Ambulance with the carols this year. There you go.
Thank you, Rosanna, for joining us this morning, and thank you, Mark Groot, for just proving our point that Will can get into carols.
Can he ever?
We'll have to
it's only a matter of time before we get the annual Will Gooding's Christmas album, Liz.
I'm pumped.
With the Bing Crosby cardigan and the mug of eggnog.
We'll send him all of these air checks to listen to while he's on his Christmas break. That is it for us, though, David, this morning. We will be here all week. We'll be back in mid-January. Coming up after 9 o'clock, though, is Graham Goodings. Matthew Pantelis is also on leave. But, Dave, you and I will be back tomorrow.
Do it all again, Lois.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Happy birthday, too.
We'll see you tomorrow morning from 6.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.